we'll do it after that one. Do, do,
Okay.
do, 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 do. Jam. You want to jam or down and jam? Shh. That was a possession.
The power agency is built for those who move like predators, decide like weapons, and execute like their life depends on it. You're either fully in, or you're invisible.
Purported to
What the hell is
have,
this?
dark rituals.
It's an EVP. Okay,
Oh.
shit, get out of here.
Welcome to Paranormal Heart Podcast with host Kat Ward.
Hi, I'm Brittany Ashley, your host of Breaking Norms Building Dreams, your guide through this transformative journey in both business and life.
Welcome to the
This is your place crafted for dreamers, doers, or anyone who has been told they can't. Get ready as we challenge those narratives together. You're tuning in live to the United Public Radio Network, airing on 105.3 and 107.7 FM in New Orleans. We are streaming on all the popular platforms every Monday at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Join me for a candid and thought-provoking conversation celebrating your unique journey because you are worth it.
What's out there? What creates the shadows in the corners or the creatures of the dark? Who are those on the other side? What do they have to say? This is the Gateway Podcast. This is not your normal style of paranormal talk radio. Brought to you live from United Public Radio Network, 107.7 FM New Orleans.
Tune in to UFO Undercover, Wednesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern, with your host, Joe Montaldo, right here on the Paranormal Radio Network.
So, welcome to News on the Flip Side,
When are we going to get there?
where you get real news and some kind of back-ass, jackass commentary sometimes, depending on what we're talking. All right, that's got to get off of my face, man. It's just got to go. Whoa, Sean, what the fuck? Damn, I feel like I'm on heavy drugs or something. Sean jumped forward, scared the living shit out of me. Anyway, guys and girls, welcome to News on the Flip Side. I hope everyone is really having a great day, great afternoon. And there's Casper up there in a great morning. To all our friends down in Sydney and Australia, happy effing Saturday afternoon. I'm glad y'all having a good time down there. For our friends in the UK, it's what about 3 o'clock in the morning, 2 o'clock in the morning, depending. Anywhere from 2 to 6, depending on where you are out there. So, you know, you should not listen to this show early in the morning. Okay, we want you to listen, but you're not going to be able. Once we start, you're not going to be able to go to sleep. No. It's not going to happen. Sean has some kind of weird hypnosis shit he puts on you.
Yeah,
and then you're just stuck for the next how many of hours we decide to go. It's but anyway, welcome everybody. Welcome Michael, Sean, Jay. What's up, guys? I don't know who may show up later on. The girls, you never know with the girls. They come and go as they please.
Laura Lee is on her way. She is finishing up a 3D something or other.
Laura. Y'all didn't know this, but Laura Lee's a spook. What? Yeah, she's a spook. Y'all didn't know this? Shh. You don't tell her because she'll spook your ass, but you'd be in trouble. Oh, man. Yeah, she's a spook. She scares me sometimes. She knows shit that nobody's supposed to know. I'm like, oh my God, Laura Lee's spooking me, man. Get out of here. It's Christopher. You can get us on Rumble because Rumble shows up in the chat. We got the boys may switch some of these other Facebooks out later because we got 3 of the ones. News on the Flip Side, UFO Paranormal, and I forgot what the other one is. Oh, UFO on the Cover. So we got those. You can go listen to us on YouTube. But like I said, one of the boys might switch them out for one of their own pages here soon because we only usually keep one of the station pages, which is UFO Paranormal. The rest of them we all use for, and Rumble we're building. So, and YouTube, hopefully, now that we have a little bit of freedom and we're not getting kicked off every 5 minutes, YouTube may be becoming a really good thing again. So all we can do is wait and see and hope and pray. Michael, what you doing, man? How's your show doing? Doing okay? I see you got a partial sharing thing. You must have been cussing or something.
What happened to me?
They said this can only be partially shared. I'm like, oh shit, what did Michael say?
I never heard of that one before. Partially shared.
Oh yeah, you can partially share on some people will let you use their music and you can split the money with them. Some things you're saying or using, you can split the money with them. You just never know who it is. YouTube should actually put a thing on the clip that tells you, oh yeah, if you use this, you can profit share. If you use this, you can't. It'd make everybody's life easier because there's a lot of good music out there that profit shares. There's also a lot of good music out there that goes.
What the hell did I talk about?
Yes, you were talking about how you're adopting Jay's baby and moving to California.
Yeah, I don't even know what to talk about. Just normal stuff.
Yeah, there's all kind of shit to talk about actually. So we got a new jet. That's a plus. Thumbs up. I don't know why we're pissed about your jet.
$400 million 747 Series 800. Two series better.
I want to go for a ride on this fucking jet. We need to get some press passes. Show them. Say, look, President, we're going to give you the best press you ever had. Just take us for a ride on the new jet, man.
Mm-hmm.
It's
what even better?
Chris, that was a dumb question. That's one I couldn't tell you anyway. Why?
We should do a before and after flight. We go on the plane before they fix it for Air Force One, and then go on it again when they do. After it's been
put a proposal together because you can submit now. And that little Caroline girl, you might get lucky. She says she likes shiny head guys. So
yeah, look at that.
I'm just telling you what she said. That's all. So Jay and I can get one here and put a hand on top of your head. Yeah, baby. Rub away.
Her husband's your age, dude.
We'll just slap his ass around. We ain't worried about no husbands. It's what is this? Husbands. I think you think we living in the 2024s or something?
Guys,
2025.
Harems, man. They got multiple women. You know.
So before I know we're going to get into Biden and his stuff in a little while, but so it's nice to be getting this jet. I mean, Trump did a great job. We covered it last week. I mean, it was he did a really good job. So the Iran thing. All right. Before we even get into Palestine, let's talk a little bit about Iran. So what the fuck is we're going to do with Iran? Now, I've heard Trump and his ideas. So should we give them any nuclear anything?
No, nothing.
So we just say nothing, no nuclear
no power
power,
plants, because they
no
will
nuclear
try
power.
to convert if there isn't like a
They
military
can make a dirty bomb. I
nuclear
mean,
device that we leave behind, they will try to pervert it into a weapon. I guarantee you. One of the radical factions who doesn't agree with what the government is doing will get in there and take that stuff and make a dirty nuclear bomb and destroy some city. Probably their own.
Probably their own. I don't know, Mike. What do you think? Should we let them have one? I mean, it's not fair. I mean, they should have power. I mean, Tel Aviv is a big place.
Build traditional coal-burning electrical furnaces.
You have to go along
the planet, man. Come on now, get green.
We have them here. We have coal-burning electrical facilities here.
And we're wrong for that. We should not have those.
You've got to go long and far.
Go green, man.
From a nuclear power plant to weapons-grade plutonium.
Oh, it's a big deal.
You need the facility. You need. I mean, you know it is, Joe.
It's true, but they can still
it's
use
a huge process.
the material of a regular power plant to make a very nasty.
No, you can make a dirty bomb. I agree. You can make a dirty bomb out of it. It's not going to be an explosion or anything. It'll be a big, nasty, dirty bomb. It'll contaminate all kind of places.
So why couldn't they just then buy some nuclear warheads from Russia, right? Something that'll.
Because that's so. If you use a Russian nuclear warhead on us, that's an act of war from Russia. We're going to go blow the fuck up out of Russia. We ain't going to worry about Iran because they're already going to be wiped out. We're going to be going, excuse me, Russia, did you sell them a nuke they could use on us? Oh, no, my friend. That's not going to be something that goes over.
I'm willing to bet they already have them. They already have them. They probably just can't.
Well, but the thing is, Mike, that we know what the type of material they used on there. So we will be able to determine once we get the on base or on site ground zero. With science, we can determine who made the bomb.
They can say they're stolen, over 200.
Somehow the Israelis know what the Iranians are doing. I don't know if they're paying off half the scientists or something.
250 nuclear warheads went missing in the Ukraine when the Ukraine broke out from the Soviet Union. There's stuff out there that's out there. So who knows, man? They just disappear. Someone's got them somewhere.
Well, some of them probably been cleaned up.
I think we're missing 3 or 4 or 5 nuclear devices.
I'm talking about 250. 250, I mean.
Yes, but it's a little deceptive. So they're missing actually 140 suitcase nukes. But what nobody ever bothers telling you is they don't have the control key for it. So they're useless without it. It's you have to have it's a key. You're not going to be able to.
Yeah, but having one half of the puzzle is,
But for some reason, nobody. Some old Soviet general said they melted down the keys to be on the safe side, so there is no keys. So they're basically just useless. But still, they do have uranium in them, and I don't know why. Worse than that, if you got a good scientist, you could pull the core from that nuke. Now, maybe there's some kind of detonation thing. Maybe there's a mini I don't know how Russia did that in the nukes. There's no telling. But there is a core there.
There was a long time ago, so it's probably something fairly simple.
It probably is something fairly simple. And it's probably something that could easily be replicated today and done. But there's got to be some other thing that's holding them, because we're talking 50 years now. Nobody's used one. So there's something else. There's another piece of this puzzle that we don't know about.
It could be one. It could be one of those, long-term stratagems, like what the Israelis did with the pager and the walkie-talkie attacks.
That's no, dude. How many regimes they've changed since then? Like 3 times. That's beyond that. This is something the Russians did when they built these things. Made sure that you just wasn't a tool or terror, because I guess they were worried the terrorists would use them against them. So they did something that made sure these nukes didn't go boom.
Can I ask you guys something?
Wait, what? What was that, Sean? I didn't hear what you said, babe.
Since we made all those deals with Saudi Arabia and the UAE, now would Iran be sweating the load if they tried something?
Iran's on their own. There's nobody going to stand up for them. Even Egypt's going to tell them, fuck you. Yeah. Right now, because of the treaty that Trump did in 2016 and the treaty he's got now, adios amigos, Iran. Don't start anything. It will be a bloodbath, and it will be theirs. And the sad part is half the people that live in that country don't want to fucking live there.
Yeah.
They're like, no, we want to be free. Screw this, but they can't get out.
And more than double of the countries that are surrounding Iran hate Iran, especially the ones around Iran and in the Mediterranean, because the Iran-backed Houthis, they didn't distinguish.
Well,
they everybody's boats. So
America made a mistake doing Desert Storm. Okay, I know we were pissed because of Kuwait, and we wanted to prove a point to the world how easy it is for us to whip somebody's ass, and it was kind of a rebound from Vietnam. So I understand why they did it, but the point is when they took Saddam out, they left a vacuum. See, Saddam kept Iran under control. Remember, he whooped their ass about every decade or so. He just whooped their ass about every 5 6 years.
Gave them weapons to do it, man.
Yeah, and he did. And plus, they used mustard gas and all kind of shit on Iran.
Who would eventually become Al Qaeda?
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, as long as Iraq was there fighting the way they were, Iran would have never had the money to develop anything. Once we blew the living shit about Iraq, they're not competing with Iran anymore. Iran don't have to worry about them anymore. They know they're not going to come attack because America's got to deal with them. You don't go fuck attack anybody, we'll kill your ass. And it's kind of a bitch, but it's just the way it works. What my biggest problem with everything in the world today is if the America needs to come to the point where, all right, we'll come save anybody's ass, but you now belong to the United States. And you belong's a bad word. You now are part of the United States as a commonwealth. You can do everything but vote for president. Got all the same rights as everybody else. You just don't get to vote, but you got to pay taxes, motherfucker. But you don't have to. You can't vote for president, just like Puerto Rico.
What if they made that a real law? Like you can't, if you didn't pay your taxes, you can't vote.
They've been thinking about that. The federal taxes, because your state taxes, they can take your driver's license. They can do all kind of shit if you don't pay your state taxes. And that's been a big fight for a long time because they're saying, no, you can't take somebody's right away to vote, taxpaying or not. It's not.
Well, okay, so the states couldn't rescind voting for federal elections, but for in-state and in-county and in-city votes where the people get to vote on things, they could be, eliminated from voting for not paying city or county taxes or state taxes.
Yeah, what they're saying, the feds I think the Supreme Court said it was illegal or unconstitutional or something. They said you could fine them, you could do this, you could do that. But, really and truly coming right down. There's also been a big fight about property tax. Do you have the right to take someone's property from them because they haven't paid the tax? Because after all, they bought that property cash money, $300, $500, $200, whatever, $1 million, whatever. They paid for that shit and they own it. And why should just because you're not paying your water dues? Yeah, you can put a lien on it when you sell the house, you get your money, but you can't come in and take the house. That's bullshit. That's just another scam for making money is all it is. So a lot of states have been getting, called out on that, and they have to fight. And a lot of states have reversed some of those laws too. Matter of fact, some of the states have even reversed the death law because down here, the state got half when someone died. And wait, it was worse because they got half right off the bat from the estate. Then they got half from whatever you got. So technically, the son of a bitch has got 2/3 of the estate. The fuck? And why do they get it?
Stealing. That's called
stealing. Exactly what the fuck it was. And so they've actually come down on that somewhat, and things are changing. But still, it was bullshit. What's that, Christopher? No, we're going to talk about it in a little while. Oh, no. Michael and Jay were talking about it when I came in. Yeah. I was listening to them two talk about it. We're going to talk about it if there's any merit to it.
The auto pen scandal?
Yeah, it can be, but we got to finish the Middle East
scandal in American history.
But we're going to finish out. We're going to finish what we're talking about in the Middle East, and then we'll go over there. So now we got kind of an idea. Iran. Basically, everybody says don't leave them any nuclear power. I don't know if that's going to work or not, but they're going to lose their nukes, their ability to make nukes. Plus, like I said, I don't know how Israel does it, but Israel knows. Israel knows because Israel every now and then just goes over there and blows the living shit out of crap in Iran. And there's nothing Iran can do about it. That's the bitch part. They're just like, oh, well, Israel came blew some shit up, you know? And that's why they have the Houthis, so they can do something. Say, oh, it's not us, America. It's the fucking Houthis, man. They did it, man. It's not us. But that, you know, we all know who it really is. So I think we can get that under control. And then Egypt and them are all got the treaties, and all the other EUs and BUs and DUs and whatever else we got over there in the Middle East are all behaving now. So we got Palestine left. So the real question about Palestine is, do they allow them to stay? There's no way there should ever be a two-state government ever again. It's never worked in the 70 or 80 years this has been going on. The Palestinians want to live there. I say the Israelis should let them live there, but they have to live under Israeli rule. They can practice whatever religion they want, just like the Israelis do. Yeah. I mean, freedom of religion should be a God-given thing on the planet, whoever you happen to worship. But as far as them having control again, because you can't. I mean, this all started because of what? They killed, 1,800 kids. Not adults, the cowardly fucking bastards. They went in there and killed a bunch of teenagers, and then they went into people's homes and set the babies on fire and then stomped their heads on there like they were trying to put the fire out. You know what? I'd probably have killed 1 million of them motherfuckers. I don't think they're getting off easy. People get mad at me all the time, but I hate to tell you guys, but I think they're getting off easy. If I'd have came in to my house and seen some fucking Houthis stomp my baby's head into the ground, kill it, I don't want to have got a nuke and shoved it up somebody's ass.
I think the subdued response by the Israelis, though, people have been giving them shit for the whole conflict, and no one said anything about these poor children that were set on fire and then stomped to death. That's brutal and insane, and that's just right there. If that were the U.S., I would not be surprised if a nuclear device was dropped on.
Oh yeah, it would have been. Raymond.
Hey, Kurt.
What do you mean? Too much is too? There's no such thing. When you do that, you have to know going in. When you went around and killed a bunch of newborn babies, that there was going to be hell to play, literally. And these guys are right, because if it would have been America, there would have been some tactical nukes. Yeah, there would have been. There wouldn't have been no more anybody. Anybody who said they were a terrorist organization would now be dust. It's and we'd just laugh our ass off about it. When anybody bitch, we'd say, "What you gonna fucking do about it? You want to start World War III? Get froggy and jump." It's and once you see us unleash 4 nukes, you're not gonna say anything but go home and get in your little corner. Hope we don't look at you next. It's a mean thing, but you have to answer this kind of shit so no one thinks about fucking doing it again.
Yeah.
You know, whether it's just the Israelis are doing it right, I don't know. I would have been much more brutal about it. I'm not going to lie to you. I'd have been far more brutal than Israel was about it. Yeah, I've been. You remember the guys when they were putting them in the cages and setting their asses on fire? What's that? ISIS? Who was doing that? Oh yeah, and the Obama was showing it on TV. Yeah, y'all don't remember that? NBC and they were showing it on TV.
Yeah, I do. Is that where they
torturing people? Yeah,
on TV.
Yeah, they were torturing people and shit. They were doing all kind of shit, and our media was carrying it. I was kind of like, wow, he did some shit. And I'm glad I didn't have any children at the time that were that young. But I mean, so you can't just sit there and say, okay, enough's enough. Palestinian people are the ones suffering, but you know what? They're the ones that let them stay in their area. They knew they would.
They have a choice, though, Joe.
Yeah, you always got a choice. So you're in a hospital, and you got a bunch of these guys, these Hamas guys in there. Roll out a couple of canisters of nerve gas, and you ain't got no more Hamas guys. Or just roll out some knockout gas, whatever you happen to have on hand. Take them out, cause a rally, and say, "Here, shoot these motherfuckers instead of us."
Well,
I always had a choice.
I don't know if that's a solution so much as if you just gather up all these people with these radical ideas. Are you going to stop? Are you going to keep on doing your terrorist things? If they say no, you gather them all up, drop them on Antarctica. Here's your land. See you later. Come back in 6 months and take their skeletons and dump them in the ocean.
They might be like Khan.
You
So
have to
what?
understand. You got to
They're
understand what you're
super
dealing with.
beings, and they freeze,
When
and they become suspended in animation. Leave them there. Leave them until the ice
that works
unfreezes.
for me.
you got to understand what you're dealing with. A large population of very primitive, uneducated people. They're going to keep putting the terrorists in charge because they really have no other choice. So really, it's the people who legitimized Hamas, led largely the Democratic Party. They're the ones who looked at and recognized them as a political party, which I don't know how the hell you can do that since they're hell bent on killing everybody. And if you listen to their manifesto, it had nothing to do about world politics. But really, there needs to be a control factor because there's certain people out of control. They don't have the wherewithal to be in control. They don't have a value of human life. They don't care about those things. I mean, I don't know, man. And a lot of them are ruled by their religion. Tells them what to do. Tells them when to shit. Tells them when to do everything. So they're much more based in religion than nationality. You know what I mean? So they're not really with a country; they're with their religion. So whatever. I mean, Muslim
There are
is
parts
just
of their culture.
Islam's just not one religion. It's several actually, like Christianity. And then some of them are really militant and really out there. Some of them are more moderate. But no matter what, that's how they're controlled. You know what I mean? And then as for Gaza, I don't know what's left in Gaza. Last time I see all these pictures,
Dust, pretty much dust.
It's a carpet of broken concrete and whatever. It's a very dangerous place. There's no resources there. There's no way people can't live there. So it's got to be changed. That much we know. But who's going to own it? Who's going to control it? Where are the Palestinians going to go?
Netanyahu is saying that they're going to take it. It's going to be under Israeli law, and
Netanyahu loves that. But where are the Palestinians going to go?
That's up to Netanyahu. He's taken over the area, and he's not. The way he was requesting.
Saudi Arabia said they would take some of them Palestinians.
Huh? What, John?
Didn't Saudi Arabia or some of them other countries over there said that they would take some of the Palestine refugees?
I don't know. I didn't hear that, but I did hear Benjamin Netanyahu say, with no other. With no ifs, ands, or buts, he's going to take over control of Gaza no matter what. So what he didn't say anything about the Palestinians, but Gaza is going to be theirs. And it doesn't sound like he's going to back down from that request either.
Okay.
Man, it's a shit sandwich. It really is. and then you definitely are denying Palestine a state because they're not going to get that state anywhere else. No one's going to give up that for them. Maybe some people will house them or whatever. There's a lot of people we're talking about, and also a lot of people that have like really no skills. So you're taking on a huge welfare state, something that you got to feed every day, clothe and whatever, all the stuff you need to do until you can get them going. I don't know. I don't see how it's going to be any kind of win-win scenario. For Israel, yeah, because now they can move those Jewish settlers into those areas, which is what they wanted to begin with. Ariel Sharon was called the bulldozer because he would bulldoze people alive in their homes, Palestinians alive in their homes. I don't know how you forgive and forget when that happens to your family, your children, and all that, and you see this group of people. That's why there's so much passion, and people are shooting Jewish people now, and I don't think Jewish people are safe anywhere in the United States. There's these liberal maniacs that are out there with all the violence. They want to make a statement.
Well, this kid who shot those two Israeli staffers from the embassy, he wasn't even Palestinian.
A beautiful young couple, just like that, dead. So I don't think you're safe anywhere. The Democrats made it like that. I think that a lot of Jewish people are Democrats. I think they need to rethink that stuff and think about what the Democrats have done for them and their party. The Jewish people in general, what has the Democratic Party done for them? Has it kept them safe? Is it fighting for their rights? So
goose egg.
We'll see what happens. Man. But I know that something big is coming, really big, and all this other stuff is going to seem really minor when we get to that goal. but I think everybody out there just needs to be thinking about their daily life. Don't let this other stuff make you crazy. You know what I mean?
Right.
And focus on your
I
daily
agree,
survival.
Michael.
Focus on
What
your
big
survival
thing do you
and
think's coming, Mike?
having nice things and being happy in of yourself. You know.
What kind of big thing do
Or
you
you
think
can
is
go visit
happening?
Joe Montaldo. He'll bite you in the neck, and then you can be a vampire, live forever. You only need blood to survive, and oil, and
and
gasoline.
blood substitutes
Blood and gasoline.
Hey, Mike,
We all
what do you
want
think is going to
vampires.
happen? What do you think is going to happen, Mike?
You mean the big thing?
Yeah.
Oh God, it's like a tidal wave. I don't know, man. I just feel it. You know what I mean? It's alarming. It's something I'm adding into my life of okay, I'm in the process of getting like a nice RV just to have, you know what I mean? And then if I need to bug out, you got an RV, it's got a generator, it's got all the stuff, man, and you just go. You go. I don't know, dude. I just feel like my normal brain is saying that like the passion and anger is so overwhelming out there that something comes to a head. But I think that energy drives other natural energy. You know what I mean? I think that
Yeah.
it can even displace it. It's like there's an old proverb about a butterfly in China shaking its wings and causing tornadoes in the Midwest. From some little tiny action, these huge actions can happen. So I don't know. It's ugly out there. People are ugly. It's ugly. They're angry. They're using violence. It's more and more. It's not stopping. And a lot of people that follow Trump, man, these MAGA people are very like cultist type of people. I mean, I like what he's doing, but I'm not some kind of follower. But it's weird. Let's just say it's weird. For politics. It's weird. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think we
It's
need to
scary,
examine
dude.
that history repeats itself, and I think that we need to examine what's going on. And I think that Trump he himself has to still stay within the law, because that's what we're all about. We're a nation of laws. I like a lot of what he's doing, but we'll see. I don't know. We'll see, man. But there's other stuff going on, dude. It's going to reveal itself. There's other stuff going on, and then we deal with that from there. I want to reflect on Baba Vanya, the psychic Baba Vanya, who said, and we're right about the date that she was talking about when Europe was going to be turned into dust, basically, like rendered unlivable. She said, and then she said,
them Europeans can go live in Canada.
yeah, but she said it was the Arabs. She said it was the Arabs.
Not if it becomes the 51st
She said
state.
there was going to be an Arab invasion, and from stemming from that, this thing was going to happen. And then now you're seeing it. You're seeing that Arab, the immigrant invasion in UK and all over, Sweden and the whole, everything, right? Millions and millions, changing the face of these cities.
What you're seeing is Trump teaching the Middle East how to work together. They can be dangerous down there.
I like going on YouTube sometimes and taking like the double-decker bus ride around London. Like you could just kind of sit there and get the first-person perspective. You wouldn't believe all the people with the hijabs and all that. And I'm like, this is London, huh? Like London. And one of my friends over there, he's like,
the mayor was an Indian. I think he is still an Indian guy. The guy who was the mayor for a long time was Indian.
Well, the reason, Michael, that there's such a presence of that is bad politics, but it's their own fault. I mean, in their expansion years, England went to almost every continent and made colonies. So and they're still reliant on
yeah,
India.
but it's not just England. Your point falls flat because in Germany there's areas that are Islam controlled that cops can't go. Sweden, the same thing. So
that's
more.
Messed up.
There's an invasion.
Not as much anymore. They've been cleaning it up.
No. You got
not in England. Not in England. I have a friend from England.
Yeah, no. In the Scandinavian countries, they have been. They've been also voting conservative in the Scandinavian countries. That's why they've been cleaning it up.
My point was that I'm talking. This is all going on now. You know what I mean? It's all going on now. They can't even go in those areas. They don't even go. So it's a country within a country. You're seeing something happening here, and then people better pay attention. But I think that Germany, whatever they do is what they do, and we have no control over that. You know what I mean?
No.
But ultimately, it's going to hurt their own country. You know, you can't be. I don't know. It's an unbalance, right? Like even Obama said, you can't have an open border because it would destroy the country.
Yeah,
Obama said
it doesn't matter what country it is; it would destroy that.
So what happened from then till now?
What do you mean? Obama was a great deporter, man. He's deported more people than Trump has.
He killed more people than anyone with drones, man.
Right? Yeah.
Yes, he's got a record on that. He's going to hold that record for a long time too. It's a shitty record to have.
Pardon?
How are you doing?
I'm mad. I used my 3D printer. I was going to bring it. I hope I'm not going to get fined for this, Sean. I was making a little Grogu, and both of them screwed up right at the head. So I got headless Grogus from Star Wars.
What is it?
You know what, guys? Before we go on, everybody's has a clean slate. No more Star Wars stuff. You can say all you want.
So I gave up and came on here. It was supposed to be done. Mm-hmm.
You can show all your Star Wars memorabilia. There you go.
Okay, let's see.
I gave Jay all kinds of tips how to get the ones that he wants because we found out we collect Lord of the Rings things too. So.
Yeah, I actually have.
Well, just ignore him, Sean. I learned a long time. Just ignore him.
How's everybody?
We just got through blowing up the Middle East, but we're okay.
But that's
great,
You
Jay.
just blew up Europe in the Middle East.
That's cool.
Well, we ain't got to Europe yet, but we're gonna get to them bastards. But we just pretty much blew up the Middle East a few minutes ago. So we took care of Palestine. They're not a worry no more. Took care of Iran. You know, they're not a worry no more either. So we just been blowing shit up.
Iran's on the ropes, I would think.
Iran's in deep shit because America's got him. Trump's got his foot firmly in the sheik's ass. So, in the Ayatollah's ass, sorry, and he ain't letting it out. So he's just like, look. First off, we're gonna just take all that shit back that asshole gave to you.
Awesome.
We're gonna go ahead and do some other nasty things to you. We might even boycott you. I mean, we might even put a block around your country so you can't even deliver any oil to anybody.
Oh my God!
You know, this guy's sitting there thinking, Jesus Christ, man, what did I do?
Joe, you know, we
not Jesus Christ. I apologize, Dad.
We can stop their internet service as well, you know.
Oh, we found out China was putting kill switches in all of our solar.
Yeah, you see that?
Really?
And I hear it's in some of the cars going to Europe. Got kill switches in them. Yeah.
Why?
Jeez, I wonder why.
And I wonder why we still fucking doing business with them. We should, not
just kill switches, communication devices.
Yeah.
They can monitor local communications. So it's a whole different level, man. A whole different level is fine. Yeah.
Yes. So after the dog food thing and then the baby formula thing, we should have cut the motherfuckers off permanently.
Yeah, you could.
If I'm going to be listened to in my car, I'm buying American so I can be listened to by the NSA like any good American should be listened to all day of his life.
Yes, well, somebody asked me, he goes, well, I can't buy American. My stereo sucks that comes from America. He said, I want Alpine or Bose or something.
Emerson, man. What happened to
I said, dude, buy Japanese then. Don't buy Chinese. Oh, that's right, huh? I said, you can buy a Bose or I don't even know if Alpine's around anymore. They were a Swiss company or a company in Scandinavian countries. They had fabulous audio.
Alpine is an elite component, but I think you can still buy Alpine at least tuners. They don't make the other stuff, cassette players and that kind of thing, though.
Did you see that Trump told Apple make phones in the U.S. or it'll be a 50% tariff?
Yeah. Oh yeah. He's bringing all kind of manufacturing. You know what? He's gonna have to let the legal stay at the rate he's fucking going because there ain't gonna be nobody work these jobs.
He's on a roll.
$5 million moved to our country. He's gonna have to say, "Hey, look, if you've got an education, we want you, but we'll even pay you more money. Just please come over here." I mean, that's the goal. Except if you're Canadians.
I can't shop on Amazon.com anymore. I used to. They are in the ad all kinds of money, double the price every time I click on it. So
yes, we're banning you Canadians from life.
We're banned now with their new monster that runs our country too. Nothing. Can't see.
Oh, that fucking idiot.
Anywhere anymore now.
Yeah, before we talk about Biden, we got to talk about Carney. So, I heard him the other day. He was playing some Trudeau thing about how proud we are that we got rid of handguns. I'm like, oh, okay. And then, of course, now y'all basically losing freedom of speech. So you can't protect yourselves.
We never had it. We found that out during the trucker rallies. What happened? We thought, all of us Canadians thought we had freedom of speech. What do you think? Any show I'm on with the U.S., I say, your forefathers were brilliant with the Constitution they wrote for your country. Mm-hmm.
It's fucked up. And the sad part is, because of Hunky Trunky, y'all gonna have to deal with Carney for at least another year for sure. It depends on
went for the team, and we thought Trudeau.
What's going on with that in court, Lord?
Well, they went after him, but it doesn't matter. They're going to get it before a court. This happened before he was put in place, because he certainly was not elected by the people, and he was taken to court for illegally assuming the position of prime minister. He wasn't voted by the people. When Trudeau stepped down, he still really was prime minister. And so he had the right to take control of the Liberal Party, but he did not have right to step in as prime minister, and a court is agreeing to it. But nothing's going to happen because he is prime minister. So what are they going to do? Slap him on the wrist? He's a multi-billionaire. He's part of the WEF. He's part of the Bilderbergs. He's part of the, I go on and on. He hasn't lived in Canada for 13 years.
I like what Sherry
said. That might get his ass down.
I like what Sherry said. Frozen bank accounts in Canada.
That happened during the trucker. I watched that whole thing like a hawk. I watched different police forces come in from other countries that were dressed in green with a black X on them, including our own police officers who trampled peaceful protesters on horseback. I watched it. There was an elderly First Nations woman, and they ran right over her with a walker. I was horrified. We learned a lot about our country during that, I'll tell you. That we thought we had rights as Canadians, and we do not.
Mm-mm. It's time to vote some of them assholes out then.
Mm-hmm. Well, who's going to do it? How are we going to get rid of them? No, our military's not like your military.
Well, our military can't step in. Our Constitution gets really funny when it comes to the military getting involved. It's there's really and truly the National Guard could kind of get involved, but the military itself, ooh, that's a coup then. And then all hell can break loose.
Well, Joe, why would it be a coup? Why would it be a coup?
Because the military itself is only for defense of the United States. The National Guard is for the internal defense of the United States, not the military. There's actually a big thing of it. There's actually a law that says they cannot get involved.
So the next time there's Canadian wildfires, we offer all these firefighters, but they're really soldiers, right? But they're also firefighters. And we put them all through Canada with all kinds of bases, man. Problem solved.
Our people came down during your wildfires too, because we've always had brother and sister relationship. But like I said, if Alberta goes to the U.S., and I'm sorry, I've been in Canada my whole life, I'll be moving to Alberta.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Trump's talked a little bit about that lately. He said, I guess we'll have to take him in piece and parts. He really wants that fucking Greenland, too. I don't know. I know why he wants it, but it's crazy.
I haven't heard nothing about that, Joe. What's going on there?
No, I mean, there's only, 48,000 people there. So the Dutch were getting a little snotty, and Trump said, well, we want to build another base if we can't. So the Dutch kind of like, well, yeah, okay, that's fine. So what Trump's going to basically do is build like 4 or 5 bases on it and say, okay, well, now we have as many military people as you actually have people here. And 5 Marines could probably take the whole island by their fucking selves. It's it's going to basically be it's our island anyway. Too bad, so sad. You ain't getting it back. Fuck you. We're not like the Brits, because one of the biggest mistakes I ever seen ever in history was when the Brits gave Hong Kong back to the Chinese. Their technology tripled in less than a decade. It was the biggest mistake. They should have nuked the whole fucking city and gave it back to them. I mean, it was the biggest mistake I've ever seen. I mean, you give something like that to a communist country. That was one of the most ignorant things I've ever seen in my life. I was like,
do you think England was threatened by China if they didn't?
Britain wouldn't have been scared of China, not even a little bit. And the United States would have just laughed at them and said, "What the fuck? Get out of here! Go back and eat the dirt you've been eating."
You got a Canadian agreeing, and you got an Australian. Same thing. We're all under the Commonwealth with Britain too, so that's part of the problem.
Well, you know, I know that. So I'm confused about this king thing. So he gets to speak for y'all.
He does.
So, because Carney, what do they call his little letter? What is Carney's little letter called?
Hi, Joe. He's on he'll be on our money. His mother was on our money. Like it's Australia, New Zealand, Canada. I forget who else is under the Commonwealth. So we found out. I thought we had free speech. I thought we had a Canadian Constitution. You could just wipe your butt with what is written there because it's not enforceable. And many who woke up, I'm telling you, when we went through the last couple of years, we found out. So I think that's why I keep saying your Constitution, fight to keep it, because your forefathers, I think, were brilliant. They were seeing into the future with what they wrote in there to protect you as Americans, including no guns. Because throughout history, whoever doesn't have guns, look what's happened to them. You guys will never be taken over because you guys are able to be armed.
Yeah, because
the exact example that you just used, Laura Lee, in World War II. That's how Hitler gained control of everything in Germany. He couldn't get a gun, and if you already had one, if you didn't turn it in, you were a criminal. So he got the guns through crafty law.
It's true. Look throughout history, when the citizens are unarmed, you're screwed. You guys will be fine, and they know that because your citizens are armed or have the capability to be armed.
Yeah, and they know they know they can't do any kind of legislation that will take them from us because we'll fight back. We can dismantle the government through our Constitution and start
everyone
again.
on this show has a gun.
Mm-hmm. It's true. Yep.
Everyone on this show has a gun.
I don't.
I don't.
Oh.
You know, Sean?
Okay, the top three guys on the show, me.
Well, I got one for both of them, so we're okay.
I know you do. I told you. I mean that. There's another Canadian, Sherry, in the chat said the same thing. She said if Alberta goes to the U.S., she's moving. I'm moving. I bet you all of Canada will try and fit into Alberta. Most of us.
It's a little shaky. I have a whole wall of swords, and then right below that, in that little black thing right there are about 30 pairs of hardwood nunchaku. So even if I run out of bullets, I've got weapons. Then I have in my bedroom, I have 4 bullwhips, 8, 10, and 12 foot.
You don't need to know what you use those for in the bedroom.
No, that's why I keep them, because it's
some things I don't even know about that, Jay.
But no, that's not what you. They're
we don't know.
They're not toys. They will absolutely kill you. They will rip right through leather jackets and do
again.
Damage.
We don't want to know what you're doing with them things.
Don't want to know, Jay.
He just got to tell us, though. He just got to tell us. He's what's that, Jimmy? No, we're getting ready to go to break in a minute. We're gonna listen to I don't know. We're gonna listen maybe some Dennis Rucker. No, we're not listening. No, we're not listening to them either. Ooh, maybe some 5 Finger Death Punch. No, they'll probably kick us in the balls with their.
Yeah, that got us kicked off before, I think.
No, Metallica got us kicked off, but we're not gonna.
Something else did too, though.
Yeah, you know what? We might do some Fleetwood. Oh no, this.
Yeah. Never going back again.
Wait. We might have to do this guy here. We ain't doing Johnny Cash Hurt. That song is tough, man. That song kick you in the balls. It's the country.
Ring of Fire.
Yeah, it's a good song too. Let's see what we're gonna use here. No, Jack, you're gonna use something. Ooh, Deliverance. No, we're not gonna do that. It's no Van Halen, no Dumb Head. No, we're gonna do the stupid song. All right. We're gonna have a 3-minute and 35-minute stupid song after the promos, guys. I'm just warning y'all ahead of time. It's and hey, what had changed songs on me? Okay, we'll be back. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a break right quick, and I don't know what we're going to be playing when I get back. Cotton Eye Joe just came up, but I don't think that's what we're going to be playing. It's But Skag Bab was up there, you know, the guy, he's kind of retarded, so we might put that on. But we really do have to take a break. I want to thank everyone for tuning into United Public Radio and News on the Flip Side. You have Laura Lee and Sean and myself and Jay and Michael here with you. God knows what kind of, how can I say this nicely? What kind of topics we'll be discussing next. We have not got to the auto pin yet. Let me tell you what, we have quite a bit of stuff we have to talk about and we started out, we've been all around the world now, haven't we? We started out in the Middle East. We've been hating on Europe. We're in Canada a little bit. We still got to go back to EU, but I think when we come back, it will be Uncle Cracker and his auto pin. And who knew when he actually had cancer? So we'll be talking about those. Those are kind of hard hitting. And then when we leave there, we may have to go pick on our European friends for a little while because I think they have been smoking some shit over there and they need to share it with the rest of us. On that note, we'll see y'all in about 8 minutes, guys. Stay tuned.
Are you ready to explore the unknown? Dive into the world of the strange, mysterious, and unexplained with Eerie Expeditions magazine. Each issue is packed with spine-tingling tales, cutting-edge paranormal investigations, and exclusive insights into hauntings, cryptids, UFOs, and more. Whether you're a seasoned investigator or just love a good ghost story, Eerie Expeditions magazine has something for you. Join our growing community of truth seekers and adventure lovers. Subscribe today at EerieExpeditionsMagazine.com and unlock the secrets of the supernatural. Are you ready? That's EerieExpeditionsMagazine.com, where the extraordinary is just a click away.
Hey, look, I found some EVPs.
To have
because our promo this week would have got dinged on YouTube, so we didn't post it here. We'll play it.
If you have a paranormal experience that you would like to discuss on the show, please email us at paranormal.insight.podcast@gmail.com. That's paranormal.insight.podcast@gmail.com.
Hi, and thank you all for joining us today. We are broadcasting live on the United Public Radio Network and the UFO Paranormal Radio Network, 105.3 on the Gulf Coast and 107.7 FM in New Orleans.
Are you ready to explore the unknown? Dive into the world of the strange, mysterious, and unexplained with Eerie Expeditions magazine. Each issue is packed with spine-tingling tales, cutting-edge paranormal investigations, and exclusive insights into hauntings, cryptids, UFOs, and more. Whether you're a seasoned investigator or just love a good ghost story, Eerie Expeditions magazine has something for you. Join our growing community of truth seekers and adventure lovers. Subscribe today at EerieExpeditionsMagazine.com and unlock the secrets of the supernatural. Are you ready? That's EerieExpeditionsMagazine.com, where the...
What's out there? What creates the shadows in the corners or the creatures of the dark? Who are those on the other side? What do they have to say? This is the Gateway Podcast. This is not your normal style of paranormal talk radio. Brought to you live from United Public Radio Network, 107.7 FM New Orleans.
Hi, I'm Brittany Ashley, your host of Breaking Norms Building Dreams, your guide through this transformative journey in both business and life. This is your place crafted for dreamers, doers, or anyone who has been told they can't. Get ready as we challenge those narratives together. You're tuning in live to the United Public Radio Network, airing on 105.3 and 107.7 FM in New Orleans. We are streaming on all the popular platforms every Monday at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Join me for a candid and thought-provoking conversation celebrating your unique journey because you are worth it.
Welcome back, everyone. I think we're back. Yes, welcome back, everyone, to News on the Flip Side. Little Devil Went Down to Georgia. I was actually looking for the one, The Devil Went Down to D.C. I think that's the one it's called, when the guy's singing The Devil's Got an Obama face on and stuff. It's kind of funny. It's actually pretty good. And, of course, it's one of my personal favorites. But we're not going to talk about that one. Anyway, welcome back to News on the Flip Side, everybody. I hope everyone's still awake and over there in Europe listening to us, even though we've been hating on y'all tonight. Not really, but it's coming. For our friends in Australia, hey, we love you, Australians. Kick that crappy government out, man. Really, I'm confused, Aussies. I'm really fucking confused. How can you possibly be fucking liberals? You fucking came from criminals. I mean, really, how can any of you be liberals?
We got somebody in the chat room from New Zealand, Australia.
Yes, well, I got a lot of friends in Australia. That's why I can say this. I got friends in New Zealand too. Oh, fuck New Zealand. New Zealand is like paradise on earth. There's no spiders. There's no snakes. There's nothing dangerous. Everybody's nice and friendly. They give you kiwis. I mean, the fucking place is paradise. Unless you go out in the water.
They have a cave.
Then you got giant great whites and squids.
They have a cave with glow-in-the-dark animals in it. That's really cool.
I mean, really, truly, if there's such a place as paradise on earth, it's fucking New Zealand. Great climate. It's just a great place to be. Hey, it's one of them things. Yes, well, that's the thing. I don't know what it is, but everybody's gotten greedy now, and it just seems to be catching on around the world. Well, Trump makes people want to vote Democrat. You got to give him credit for that, man. Well, not everybody. I mean, a lot of people. This what's kind of weird right now because you have seen Europe.
He wouldn't have made it president,
No, I mean, you're starting to see. Well, because we learned from Joe Biden. That's why. They had pink shorts. They should have learned from pink shorts. I mean, but yet they wouldn't put dick face in. I mean, cornea. Sorry, cornball in. Whatever your name is, dude. You know what? As an American, I don't give a shit who you are. We're gonna kick you in the nuts anyway. Stop picking on our friends up there. It's pissing us off down here.
He's he's a carny, and I have nothing wrong with carnies, but that's what he comes from, the circus.
Trump said he should have a clown's hat on, riding an elephant around.
Yeah, he's right.
It's what's that, Christopher? No, Trump could give a good about Carney, really. Yeah. Look, people get confused. We like our Canadian friends up there. Their government could go take a flying, you know what? No, we're tired of any kind of liberal governments. America is just simply tired of anything liberal. We don't, even the liberals have gotten tired of themselves. It's gotten so bad. The Democrats are now telling other Democrats to fucking leave the party. I mean, it's getting bad, guys. I mean, but we'll get to all of that. We got a couple of hours still, so we'll get to that. But anyway, getting back, Europe, you're not next. Whoever keeps sending me that, no, hold on, we'll get to y'all, you traitorous bastards. Anyway, when I came into the show earlier today, before we started, Jay and Michael were talking about Uncle Crackle's auto pen. Who should go to jail for the auto pen? So there's a lot of things with the auto pen. First off, can we get those parts like on Fauci taken away? That would be just unfucking believably nice.
Yeah.
All the Jan 6 people, it would be great to get that taken away. Can we do it? And then can we turn around and look at what he was signing in his legislature for the last 2 years?
Right.
Or better yet, let me rephrase that. Who was signing the legislature? So I know certain things have to be signed in the Oval Office. And there's a couple of reasons why. Mainly because guess what is in the Oval Office?
Yeah.
Just cameras.
Well, but the indicator is what you're going to do is take the auto pen machine and fingerprint it. If there's anything but Joe Biden's fingerprint on
come on. These are the people who destroy hard drives. And these people aren't that stupid, Joe. You're not going to get them for something like that. You're going to have to figure out something better than that. These people, come on, they got away with throwing computers in the water, taking hard drives.
What did they do with the auto pen machine? They had to have done something with it.
Oh, it broke. We destroyed it. Or somebody just threw outside and took a hammer to it and said, oh, well, yeah. We don't know what happened to it. Come on. They found cocaine in the fucking White House, and no one still knows where it came from. You don't
A
think there
good
was
team of investigators can put time and place together. I'm sure if they all used it and that Biden wasn't present for the whole thing, I mean, right there, while they were using it. So there's one way. There's a lot of electronic forensics you can get into in a situation
it's going to
like
be
that.
tough.
But really, they should also ask Biden. They should ask him, "Did you pardon this person? Did you pardon this person?" If he can't recollect, he doesn't know, and his mental acuity is being brought into play. I mean, there could be a grounds to dismiss a lot of that auto pen
Absolutely.
because on just I mean, and if you got someone who was clearly impersonating the president, wow. I don't even know where to start.
No, that's not impersonating the president. Even though signing for him gets you quick jail.
If you signed,
Joe, Michael got a point.
Signed auto pen for that president. That's impersonation of the president.
Yeah, Michael's got a point there, Joe. He does.
They're not going to do that to Joe Biden.
What about the inner circle? Apparently there's about 6 people they're saying that they're all. By the way, they're all lawyering up right now. 6 people that they say use that auto pen for executive orders.
Well, we'll have to find out. Executive orders you go to prison forever for.
Yeah, or you go to a firing squad if you're found
Well,
guilty.
executive orders are hard because presidents usually sign them in front of people.
If you get caught.
Well, no, it's not that. I mean, all presidents that I know have signed executive orders in front of people, and I would imagine he did too. So I don't think you can really get him on the executive orders. They probably gave those to him when he was coherent. Oh, look, Cracker, you got to sign these today. Don't forget, they'd stick a pile like 200 in front of him or something of different things he had to sign. He'd just go, start signing. That's what part of the president's job. But these pardons, though. Some of these pardons are just really, really fishy. And don't get me wrong, some of these laws that got turned on while he was president, if you go back and look at Joe Biden's career, he's anti most of what the Democratic Party stands for today, especially anything on the woke side. He definitely would not have been considered a woke candidate. He said some pretty harsh stuff.
Trump is highly motivated to punish these fuckers. You know what? This is like music to his ears. This is like, okay, now we have another thing to ram up there.
Going after a man with stage 4 cancer is not going to play well for Trump.
They tried
no matter how he does it, it ain't going to play well for Trump.
They tried putting him in jail. Come on.
It doesn't matter. You go after a man with stage 4 cancer, it's not going to play well for you. It's going to bite you right square in the asshole. It's going to be like
he's not going after him. He's going after the inner circle.
He's going after his wife. That's the same thing.
Exposing a corruption that needs to be exposed. It really does. You want to fix what's broken, you have to expose it.
Exactly, Mike. Exactly. Yeah. But you know what? I would go after Joe Biden for an abuse of an elder.
Elder abuse, yeah.
But that's what they're talking about. They're not talking about any of this other stuff. They're actually talking about that. And not just her. They're talking about other members of the staff. Because they don't really think they can get him an auto pen because as long as Joe Biden was there, it doesn't matter. Even if he was incoherent, they could have been done it. But as long as he's there, you can't prove that he wasn't coherent because all they got to do is say, oh, yeah, he was. He was coherent that day. Everybody agrees that he was coherent 5 or 6 hours a day every day. So as long as he was doing it in those time frames.
If they say, oh, yeah, he was coherent that day, then they can imply, he wasn't coherent on any other day?
No, they've already said that now. They have 3 books coming out saying that now. Jake Tapper's book's already out. They're pretty much saying that last 2 years, it was pretty much, he would go here, he could do this for a little while in the morning, go here for a little while, then he'd take a nap, and then he'd do a little in the afternoon, and that was it. That was his day. This was the guy running the fucking 3 worlds.
Dementia works. I hate to tell you, but it's not. So I don't.
No, I don't think they were shooting him for all kind of shit just to try to get him to know his name.
They come out with the stage 4 cancer once the heat gets turned up.
And that's what they're going to say was making him, lose, not being able to, is the treatments, which we all know.
No, I'm going to say metastases to the brain. They're going to
that could be quite possible too.
It's already metastasized to the bone, wherever it is in his body. So that means that it was in his body at least a couple of years while he was in the
Not
office.
necessarily. They're discovering super cancers right now.
Yeah, it depends. I mean, small cell cancer can move really fast. I've had a couple of friends get killed from it. I mean, 6 months.
I work in that field. I can tell you, some people I know, my next door neighbor 2 doors away was diagnosed late October and she was dead by December.
Wow.
If it's in his bones, it's in his blood, it's in his other organs, it's in his brain. You know what I mean? Once it's in your blood, that's it. It's in your spine. You're done. You're done. Stick a fork in him, man. But he's an old man. He's an old man. He lived a long life. He's evil. I don't feel bad for him. He's going back to Satan where he belongs. The whole damn Biden crime family. I think they should all be exposed. It's goddamn ugly what went on. He used our country. He's a terrible person. The way even his interactions with children is deplorable. So I don't forgive people, man. I'm not God. I don't have to forgive people. That's not written on my birth certificate. You know what I mean? So whatever. Him and people like him need to be exposed. And I don't care what ailment it is. It doesn't change what kind of scumbag bastard he is. Doesn't change.
That's why I say it's convenient, this diagnosis, because prostate cancer, they say most men, by the time you're 80, most men have prostate cancer.
The damage these guys have done to our country.
No, but it's a slow-growing cancer. It doesn't usually metastasize. So the fact that he all of a sudden has stage 4 cancer, and I'd read somewhere it started in the prostate.
He said he had cancer 2 years ago. He admitted
exactly, Sherry. That's what I was trying to say.
It was a gaffe. He didn't mean to say it.
Actually, before he took precedence 4 years ago, he said he had to go in and have some skin cancer removed in a couple of places, and then again 2 years ago he said it again. So he was probably already aware of this. He just, the doctor probably told him, enjoy your life. Because one thing about prostate cancer, when it becomes full cancer, it does tend to kill you.
Like the president is going to blow up seeing doctors and not being treated or not being seen. Come on, man. They knew. Of course,
he's had it for a long time.
He should have the best health care being who he was. And
I
agree with you, Michael. He should go back.
Sooner or later, this doctor's either going to have to fess that he was a crappy doctor or that he knew, which is probably the latter.
He never caught the Clintons yet.
One blood test would tell you if he had cancer in his blood.
Yes.
One blood test. So
it doesn't tell you if you had cancer. Just tells you if you have white cells.
You're damn right. You look at those P values, man.
Joe, there is a blood test.
Your blood reacts. White blood cells react, especially if you're fighting some kind of an infection. It reacts. You know what I mean? But don't ever tell me that the president of the U.S. didn't have physicals and didn't know something was going on. They covered it. They lied, and that's what we know. That's a fact. That's a fact. We're seeing that as a fact right now. They lied.
Well, if you look at it, that's why he took all those trips to the beach all the time during the end of his presidency. Guarantee it.
He's an old man.
Yeah.
I don't want a guy who's 82 driving in front of me, let alone running my country. And then the people around him were going wild. Well, with the power of the presidency, wow. If you start spelling out the crimes, man, there's a lot. There's a hell of a lot. I think that.
So that's what I was telling you earlier. If Trump wants to do any of this, he has to ensure that they get another 4 years, that the Republicans do, because if not, none of this is going to be resolved before he gets out of office.
No.
It's going to be tied up, put in committees. It's got to be looked at. Congress is going to want to look at it. It's going to take 4 fucking years.
That's why he's coming back.
If he goes out and Democrats win, guess what? It's going to go bye-bye.
And that's exactly why he will come back as Vance's VP for the first 4 years.
Thanks, Sherry. Yeah, there is.
Are Democrats even going to be able to repair their party at this point?
50-50. If they don't apologize, it's 50-50.
Do you see how they put that David Hogg as vice chair, right? I mean, remember the guy from the show?
Oh, he's going away. No, he's getting fired. That motherfucker.
Yeah, you know why? Because he said that the Democratic Party is against young men who want to have sex and get high. And then because he said that, they like, okay, you have to. Bernie don't know what they're doing. Look who
Bernie came out. Well, so Bernie was for Doge, and then he came out and said that the Democrats were a danger to democracy. His own exact words. That's a quote. So but it's worse. So James Carville tells Omar, get the fuck out the party. You have no business being here. You're not a Democrat. You're some crazy ass liberal. He told AOC, and then he told AOC the same thing. And so AOC thought Bernie was going to come to her rescue,
You
because
can't have a representative of this Congress who hates Jews. You can't have it. It's something you just can't have. You know what I mean? And it's not about her goddamn personal opinions. It's about
But she's not the only one. I mean, there's 4 or 5 of them in there, so they need to go, and AOC needs to go. Actually, AOC's chance. So this is a weird thing. So AOC is going to probably lose her seat in the Bronx, but she actually has a chance of winning the Senate seat from Chuck.
Wow.
Can you see this bitch as a senator?
No.
It could happen. She doesn't have that kind of support in New York. You need a lot of New York. That's the whole state of New York we're talking about. She didn't have that kind of support.
Chuck's going out, so somebody's going to take his place. He's on his way. I don't think he can win another election. His numbers are too far down right now.
He'll be good.
God,
You know what
not
I mean?
if she gets a senator position.
Notice he's not saying
But
anything.
she's very popular right now. Right now in the whole Democratic Party, she's number one.
Notice
she's the
he's not
number
saying
one
anything.
candidate for president. Is
He
fucking
voted with
AOC.
Trump.
Yeah, and it's weird because her campaign against oligarchy with Bernie, it was sounding like she's trying to divest herself of the Democratic Party, and now all of a sudden she's like the golden child.
Yeah, well, she's in deep shit because a lot of other people on her ass from other sources. But she should have realized with fame comes a pain in the ass.
Never mind the fact what she did was it January 6th, claiming that made up this big story and she was in so much danger, and none of it was true, and it was proven.
Once Nancy's daughter released those tapes, it was bad. I mean, when you hear Nancy Pelosi herself saying, "Oh, I should have had the National Guard here. We need to take responsibility for this. We need to get out in front." That's her words, ladies and gentlemen. And you can go hear them. They're still on YouTube today, so you can go hear them. Her saying this. Her daughter recorded that and then released it. Yeah, I love you, girl. And it's
piss your daughter off.
Someone's not getting invited to the family Christmas party.
Yeah.
Ever.
With Nancy's 27 flavors of ice cream in her freezer.
But think about it. This kid waited through most of the Jan 6 trial before she released this.
Good for her.
And then she releases it and it comes out. It's I don't know, man. It was rough. But still, it didn't stop him from basically skewering everybody. It was a rough Gen 6. Now that they've investigated, and you gotta wonder. Even I still remember what's his name. The independent counsel goes, Let me get this clear, Jan 6 committee. You destroyed all the evidence.
Yeah,
why would you do that?
Because that's a felony, tampering with evidence.
So the guy goes, without evidence, we'll have to release these people. You know that, right? She's like, what? He said, well, I can't verify your findings, and that's what my job is. And, but he said, well, they're going to have to go. And guess what? They all got released.
Money, Kurt. That's why. He's with her for the money.
Why does he have all that
money?
my
God. That was a setup. That was his lover. Come on, Kurt. Yeah. That was her husband's lover.
No question.
I agree too, Sean. And why does Nancy have all that money? Does anybody ever ask that why?
Well, her husband.
Trading, which is legal if you're a senator, but it's illegal as hell if your best friend is a senator and tells you about special stock, and then you buy it.
This is where this gets quirky.
Didn't Martha Stewart go to jail for that?
Yeah, but this is where this gets quirky. So if you are a senator and you tell anybody and they use it, they're going to go to jail. But if you tell your spouse, they will not.
Or your spouse's lover, who supposedly was a burglar.
Yeah, well, whatever. He went to jail for 40 years, that poor bastard. I can't believe they gave 40 years for that. I was like, get the fuck out of here. But they say, oh, well, it's because
all
it was
because he got caught with his pants down and the wife came home.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, hitting somebody in the head with a hammer is assault with a deadly weapon. So.
Yeah, but that's what we were told. Did we see any pictures?
No. The police actually, I mean, when the report came through, there was, evidence was indicated that there was a
Have
hammer
you been
involved.
following the Karen Reed trial?
No,
You need to take a look at that.
There's so much crap going on. It's hard to keep up with any of that stuff.
It's a whole town.
He didn't hit Pelosi in the head until the cops came through the door. The cops were present when he did
probably
that.
said, hit me, make it look real.
They both had their hands on the hammer when the cops walked through the door. So it's like, and then the guy whipped it away and cracked him in the head with a cop standing there.
Yeah.
That's what we hear, though.
And if you look at the glass of the house, I mean, we examined this on the air. You look at the glass of the house, the glass was smashed out, not in. You know what I mean? So it's not like he broke in. He was already in there. And then stuff was going out through the glass, throwing things out. So whatever, man. You'll never know the truth on that either. I don't know why people just don't tell the truth. It's so much easier to tell the truth, even if it's ugly. You know what? Did you do it? Yeah, I did it, and I'd do it again. You know what I'm saying? Did you think it was wrong? Well, if I thought it was wrong, I wouldn't have done it to begin with. You know what I'm saying? What are you asking me? Just get into it. You pushed that guy down the stairs. Of course I pushed him down the stairs. He was in my way. I didn't want him there. He smelled. It was an assault on my senses. I pushed him out of the way. I would do it again. I would do it to you. You know what I mean?
He might as well. He went to jail anyways.
Just tell the goddamn truth. The jury would be so impressed that I told the truth, they'd let you go. They'd be
probably think you were lying. Probably
he's a truth teller. We need to let him go.
Yeah, that's the ultimate foil, Laura Lee. The cops get on the scene. You go, I did it. And I'm glad I did it, and I'll do it again, just like Mike said. And then you do all that again in court, and it's like, it's too good to be true. No way, not guilty. Boom.
You gotta let this.
I always believe that a person, if you lie to them, people will think they're telling the truth. Now, if you tell them the truth, people are going to look at them and say, "No, you're lying to me."
Or mix some truth with a lie.
People will always think the worst. The business that I'm in, I deal with a lot of people, man. People will always think the worst. And if you lean people into that and paint that in their minds, that's what they're going to think. They're going to jump to that conclusion, always think the worst. Even if there's good intentions, they're not going to look at good intentions. They're going to think the worst. That's just the way people are. That's the way people are.
Well, they've proven the best way to get people to believe you is to mix some truth in with a lie. Even the people that say research everything, I'm a believer in that. And you find
always salt a little truth in there.
No, man. I'm going to use Andrew Cuomo's line one day, I swear to God, when he said, I only lied to protect the truth. You know what? Oh, my God. That you know what? He should go down in history just for that one damn sentence. I'm going to use that one day. It'll be in court, and then I'll say, I only lied to protect the truth, Judge.
Hey, Judge,
that's right.
We get kicked off of somewhere. We went from like 11 people down to 2 in the chat.
I don't know. As far as I know, we haven't.
Tired, man, they're old. They got to go to sleep.
We switched topics. That's all.
They got to take eggs, man. They're old.
Yeah,
I just ate cannoli. I got coffee cranking right here, man. I'm ready to rock and roll.
So when you jump topics, sometimes it happens.
I wonder what Nancy said or did to her daughter for her daughter to put that video on.
Being a daughter, I could tell you.
It's the funny part was it doesn't seem like when you listen to the daughter speak that it was anything malicious. She just thought it was cool.
Oh, come on, Joe. Come on. You have to be. There is no way she was that foolish to think recording her mother and releasing it at the time she did.
Well,
anything other than, I think this is really cool. I'll give it to the public.
Well, I don't even know. The way she says it, the recording was an accident.
Sure.
All right.
A little bit of truth with a lie.
we're gonna switch gears right here. So I'm gonna ask you all a very important question. I want to play a video for you too, man. But the most important thing, out of just lately, especially the last couple of years, there's been a lot of UFO sightings around New York City and places like that. The last air show they did in Brooklyn, the Blue Angels, They said that a spaceship zipped one way, zipped the other way. So I want to play this for you. And Joe's more of the expert. I'll say. I'm only saying that because you're a vampire. I don't want you to
Yes, that's right. You don't want me to come in there and have somebody bite your ass.
Yeah, but look at this video. I think I'm just curious what you guys think of it, and really look at it. So there's the plane, and that's what they're saying is zipped in front. Watch how fast it's moving, though. Watch, whoop, just like that, whoop, and it goes the other way. It shoots one way, then it flies back the other way.
It's hard to see.
I'll play it again.
It looks choppy. Is there a regular, normal speed one?
Look at that.
Yeah.
And there goes.
There's just not enough of it to know.
You know why it looks choppy? Because things only shoot around 60 frames per second. You know what I mean? And really, your eye can only see
it through a vector scope. It's
careful with that. These guys will come after you playing their footage.
So look at that, and you know, it's interesting because this is teardrop. So my thought is, okay, if you want to hoax something like this, you want something closer to the camera that's going to be able to go blip, right across and then blip back across. But the thing is, a lot of different people, dozens of them, got the same happening on their camera, even though they were in different places in and around the beach watching the air show, But this thing just like right there's the plane right there, and it goes blip. What do you think of that?
I'm right there with you. I think it's a UFO, to be honest with you.
Well, it's definitely a UFO because it means unidentified flying object. But what is it?
It's reflective.
It doesn't mean it's a military. But the lighting does appear to be correct. But I need to look at the actual videotape that it was.
It's reflecting the sun
to know for sure.
And by the way, this isn't the only time this has happened, because not long later it happened again in Miami, and then again out in Arizona, and then the same type of looking, and some like a teardrop, sideways teardrop type of thing, Yeah. It's just interesting.
That is interesting. I think it's
interesting.
But I don't think our government would interfere with the Blue Angels.
No, this is fast, man. Look how fast that is. Like that, just whipping. I mean, the plane's going slow compared to they had to slow it down to see it. That thing was whipping, man.
No.
But people did see it. That's the thing. And then, now in and around New York City, this is becoming a common thing of people, and there's a lot of air traffic. JFK, and you got Newark, you got LaGuardia, plus anywhere. But this is different. These things are zipping up and down the Hudson River. I mean, the Hudson River has long been told as a UFO spot especially up north, upstate New York a bit. People see them all the time. They see them all the time. No rhyme, no reason. You know what I mean? But I don't know, man. It's a mystery, that's for sure. It's happening more often. I don't know whether people are catching it because there's so many cameras now and so much technology out there. They're catching it more often, but it's happening more often. And it seems like they're zipping around the air shows. It seems like they're zipping around the military type of stuff. I don't know.
Well, they operate in our atmosphere and through our military secured areas with ease and without any kind of. I mean, we have nothing that can touch their speeds.
Yeah, but the fact that you can see it, which the naked eye makes me think it's one of ours. It's you don't usually see a ET craft with the naked eyes unless you're maybe been exposed to one or something.
Yeah,
they're pretty. They have pretty good stealth. If not, people would be seeing them all the time. I mean, every day they would be seeing them. And it's funny. Because there's so many phones, there's actually less pictures being taken today than there was in the 70s and 80s than there is in 2025, when there's how many more cameras available to people?
Because like everybody's and never forget the drones that we never really found out.
Some people have two and three cameras, or two and three phones in some cases. So I'd say cameras are out there.
So Jay and I did this just on 2 shows ago. So we went looking for UFO sightings, big ones, lately. matter of fact, we even gave him 25 years as lately.
Yeah.
This is Nikola Tesla, designed in 1923. He got a patent on this UFO, and then he said that it could be super fast. It'll be powered by the atmosphere. Everything he described is pretty much what these discs are.
It's exactly like Bob Lazar's sport craft at Area S4. The bottom two levels are known. The top level, they have nothing. They just guess. But it's a little bit different. It's an artistic rendition, but it looks exactly like Bob Lazar's spacecraft, except that there's 12 seats instead of only 3.
I think the technology's out there, man. I think
I agree. It's an actual thing. We actually have one of those somewhere.
But what is it?
I think they're almost even beyond it. My rule of thumb is.
I think that I think that this guy knows. That's what I think. How does he get into a Tesla search? I think this was the video where he started crying. So I don't know.
Oh, probably. I have no respect for him.
When did they shoot one down?
I had a guest on the show that is a victim. He's one of the boys of Montauk, and he is a victim of MK Ultra. Now, I got him to say on air the last time I had him on, he never crossed paths with Justin Trudeau, but when he was dropped off as a little kid, he said Trudeau was dropped off in the vehicle before him as about the same age, probably about 11, 12 years old.
Wow.
So there you go. Don't know if it's true or not, but yeah, this guy's pretty steady with his story.
Think about 1928. He's coming up with anti-gravity. 1928.
My theory is whatever the public is exposed to, the governments around the world and those that are the powers that be have between 50 to 100 years ahead in technology.
But see, stuff like this, anti-gravity in 1928, for it not to have been used before now, that's even more suspicious.
Right.
Because the amount of money you're talking about being made here is phenomenal.
Yeah. Dude got a patent on it, man. A patent.
That's what once you die, the patents belong to who? The government. Especially if you ain't got no kidding. Remember, the government can pull your patent anytime they want. That's the only downside to the American patent.
I'm saying he didn't get a patent on the idea. He got a patent on the workings and the drawing.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I mean,
and Uncle Sam had the whole damn thing. So once you submit a patent,
and John Trump went in there, Dr. John Trump, and took all of his files. He said there was nothing interesting. Right down there, he's lying through his teeth. Of course, there was.
No, because he might have gave all the originals to the patent office if he couldn't afford to build them. He might have gave them all to the patent office.
Well, they took everything at the end anyway. So they cleared out his Tesla space when it was near the end of his life.
He died right before the Eldridge, the Philadelphia experiment.
Yeah,
and then because it was Tesla and Einstein were working on it together, and then Tesla died right in the beginning. I think it was January, February. He died right there in the beginning of the year. And then he wasn't finished with the calculations yet, and they went ahead with it anyway. And then the rest of the story. So, but we have, and that's back then. So think of the technology from then to now. You think that companies like DARPA are going to just sit around on that technology?
That's if, and this is a big if, they understood how to use it or how to make it or any of the components of it. Just because you have a technology doesn't mean you can backwards engineer. We know that because we have at least one UFO that we cannot backwards engineer. We've had it almost 100 years and we haven't been able to. Well, it's at least been on the planet 100 years and no one's been able to backwards engineer it yet.
We can moderately levitate it and move it back and forth and up and down and left and right, but we can't.
He had these detailed drawings of anti-gravity machines and how you create an anti-gravity.
Yes, and my point is exactly why don't you see that in our society today? That would have brought in hundreds of billions of dollars.
Probably, maybe it wasn't filling the right people's pockets too.
Yeah.
Even an oil company would have just bought this and put this out there because it would have made their lives easier to transport and moving stuff around. Would have made everybody's lives
big bucks. They wouldn't make the big bucks from the oil, man.
Yeah, they would still make the big bucks from the oil. You're still going to have your car. You're still going to have your airplane.
Now, if you're George Jetson, zipping around.
Yeah, but unfortunately, it don't always work like that. You can't let humans fly yet. Could you imagine 8 billion people flying around the skies? Give me a fucking.
We're too stupid.
We're nowhere near ready for that. We already have the technology now because of the new drone technologies. We can build little cars you can fly around in the sky. People are ignorant. You start letting a bunch of them out there, there'll be way more accidents than just cars.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
We have to develop a type of highway, how we're going to work it.
Look, gyro axis and direction of thrust. This guy had it together, man. Probably the most brilliant mind of our time.
Yeah, but alien crafts, don't they basically control with their consciousness, don't they? So
yeah, the Greys
do. But also with direct contact with the ship. I mean, they have.
That's what I'm meaning. So
the Greys, they don't need stuff like that. But that's a whole different. That's an organic technology. That's not what we have at Area 51. The thing we have out there is something different. It's not organic, and I don't think we could have kept it alive if it was.
Yeah,
I don't think we had technology.
If we required some kind of biological food, how would we feed a living?
Well, it produced its own food, but I'm sure they had to have some substance to help it produce its food. So,
yeah, I mean, it had to consume something that it couldn't produce itself. I would think.
Besides, because you see us with a organic technology. Oh my God, where we could just grow shit all over the place. That's
what I say. Humanity's not ready for it.
So, and then we talk about this stuff like we have the calling card to do this. Oh, we're going to do this. Well, no, somebody else might be saying, no, you know what? You're not going to fucking do it.
That's
You're too stupid to do it. We don't want you blowing up the galaxy because you flew it down.
That's what I was just gonna say. Look what we do already with what we have. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we're just not quite ready for it yet. I've seen several saucers that have been tried to be built. I mean, Germany built 6 of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, the one that landed in Kecksburg. That
was a Bell.
The Bell.
Yeah, the Bell.
Yeah. That was
40s or something. 40s. Yeah, I think it was the 40s. Maybe 50s.
That was you, Kecksburg.
And it wasn't alien either. It was somebody else's. It wasn't ours. It was somebody else's.
It was Germany's, man. It was Germany.
Yeah. Well, some people said it's German. Some people said Russian. I wasn't even alive at the time, so I really don't know. But
what they say about Kecksburg was, after the war was over, our Army Air Corps actually took that from Germany, that Bell.
Yes. In Operation Paperclip.
Yes.
We took a lot of technology from Germany. There's no doubt about that.
The story goes, Sean, that they brought Werner von Braun and his V2 rockets that were left over. Mm-hmm. The plans that he had for the V1s, the V2s, and other stuff that he wanted to do to go to Mars, plus some other nasty things. And then they went back a second time with a second trip, and that's when they got some things that were taken out of the spacecraft. So they took the spacecraft and all his goodies first, and then came back for there was a vital piece, like something that maybe powered it. I don't know, that they had to bring back and put on the ship so it would operate once again.
And we still talk about it to this day. They still
75, 80 years later.
Yeah, nobody can still prove it today. That's the sad part. It's and why isn't Trump out there releasing it? Let's see it, Trump.
Yeah, why not? What do you think about that, you guys? Why do you think he's not? We got all the stuff promised to us, and it's not.
Well, Trump wants to, but you know what? I think Trump's just like the rest of America. I don't think he wants to know that there's something out there bigger and badder and more intelligent.
He may also be afraid of, because rumor has it that's why Kennedy was shot.
Well, I agree.
Well, no, because Kennedy was a Democrat. Republican presidents have been knowing for a long time. That's not a big deal.
There's also a rumor that CIA has shown every president since Kennedy a very clear image of who, how, and why killed Kennedy, and they warn every president with it.
I would agree with.
Ronald Reagan said it. He's like that reporter. What do you want me to tell you? That yeah, there's aliens and yeah, they're a threat. their mouths hit the ground on that day. I was like, oh my god.
Yeah. Well, the other thing is the transferring of the notebook. So what the notebook is, the CIA and none of the outside groups have control over this. This is a notebook that the presidents keep that is been handed down to presidents for almost 200 years.
The guest book?
It's a book that the presidents use to put their thoughts into things maybe they shouldn't have done, or things that maybe should have been done a different way, or what they think may be coming on in the future and stuff like
Trump
that.
Picked up where he left off.
Trump picked up from Biden left off. Biden had the book last.
Yeah, but he had it before him.
Probably had some auto scribbly and shit in there. So
yeah, I can imagine his first entry when he got back in the office. This administration was, "I told you I'd be back. We've never seen anything like it. It'll be great." The first line he wrote.
Yeah. Scratch those last 4 years off.
But you know what? Trump wouldn't be where he is right now without those 4 years. You know, I know he gets pissed about it, but he wouldn't be the president he is now. He wouldn't have the balls he has now. He really has thought out where he wanted to go with this. He had 4 years to think it out. And he said, you know what? I'm going to firmly put my foot in everyone's ass. And that's
because we also saw what happened because we all watched, all of us were there that night with 2:10 or 2:11 in the morning when they hit the stop button, however that happened, right? And Biden took over. I agree with you. He had those 4 years to think about it and see what did happen, because he's a different president this time than he was.
Let me tell you, man, he got shot.
Think about it. He wrote out an 8-year plan.
When you get shot in the head, your life changes. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah,
I know people have been shot.
But I had noticed he was changing before that, but that I think really kicked it in.
Yeah,
he's got a question 1 inch over, he would have been gone.
True,
gone. And he turned his head. If he didn't turn his head, he would have been gone, man. So he's got to think about that, and that can help shape. He's not into the heavy rhetoric. He's not doing all that bull crap. I don't know, man. He's different. He's different.
Well, he's definitely different. He did
call somebody. I had one of my guests on Monday night told me about it. It's a guy that guards high-profile clients. And Trump apparently called him when he was on Piers Morgan afterwards, because he saves kids, goes around the world, saves kids, and he called him up after the show.
Cool.
Give him more money. Thanked him for what he's doing.
He's definitely softened up. I mean, Bill Maher all but gave him a blowjob. I mean, come on.
Whoever would have thought you would have seen that, right?
I know. And he's not the only one. I mean, you've heard there's been several other big names, even some Democrats who have said, you know, he ain't who we thought he was.
Yeah, he doesn't do the
but he's not like that in public, though. When he's with us, the public, he's like, yeah, fuck you, assholes.
there is, Joe, there's one thing that is exactly the same.
His hair?
No, people are still trying to say weird, stupid things about him, that he's, trying to take over the world. He's going to do this and that and the other thing. And none of that has come to fruition yet.
Well, you know what? They have nothing else to say but to repeat themselves, Jay.
Sean's absolutely right. They're lost.
They're still keeping him in the limelight, period. Even if he wasn't president, they would probably still be keeping him in the limelight. He would probably still be going to, other court appearances, I would think, if Kamala had won.
Oh man, I don't even want to think if Kamala would have won.
Oh,
that just.
We would be at the brink of, if not already in, World War III if she won.
And then can you imagine too, with Carney now in too, and the other leaders of the world that are now in place?
World War III would be in effect.
Yeah, because they would all be sending big old weapons by now. Kamala would have said, we need to send some F-35s to Ukraine.
She just would toss more word salad out there.
And our generals would have went, you want to do what? You want to do what with our what? No. You can't send them to fucking Ukraine. Is wrong with you. Let's send some F-15s or some shit. We'll send some F-18s. But you're not sending no F-35s, F-22s over there. You know what's funny? They don't even like to deploy to. There is something about the F-22 that no one wants to talk about. So it can't be sold. It can't be sold to any country. any
No.
country,
No.
and it's not deployed overseas usually.
Well, allegedly because the skin is 100% cloakable. I mean, it can turn itself invisible to the naked eye, not just the electronic eye, but the whole spectrum.
So they don't want anybody having that technology. That's what this feels like.
It's a Romulan.
Well, they quit
bird of
making it.
prey.
See, that was the weird part. Was the F-22 is the better of the two planes? It's actually better than the F-35 is in a lot of ways. But for some reason, they said they only built like 130 of them, and they stopped.
Okay, think about this.
Then they decided, we're going to make F-35s for everybody, which was stupid.
You take 130 invisible airplanes and put them over a tactical air zone and say, kill everything. One or two or three of them are going to bump into each other and crash into the war zone.
No, they probably have.
They don't do it.
They probably have friendly fire things that let each of them know.
Maybe so, but they're still pilot driven. Pilot error a pilot could hit a natural object, a building or a mountain. Bam! There they have the technology.
They said that they're too dangerous to share with the world.
Yeah,
they are too dangerous to share with the world. They're serious.
It's a goddamn flying submarine. It's an underwater airplane. It's a Romulan cloaked bird of prey.
This thing is just vicious, and but they also called it the Widowmaker because it killed a lot of pilots learning how to fly this bitch.
Look at all the surfaces on that thing. There must be like 15 pedals on that plane.
It kind of looks like a flying Darth Vader.
Oh no, that's not how. That's not. So the F-22.
Doesn't it? In the
okay, so the F-22 has. So you know how they put the little I forgot what they call them, the little ball thing over the helicopter pilots and all eyes, and they do that for fighter pilots and jets too. But this is different. These fit right on the side. They're little. They plug into your temple basically. That's how you fly that plane. F-22s can be flying without wire. I mean, without a joystick. They can actually be flown through. They don't call it telepathy because somehow you're plugged into it.
The technology to be able to connect with its pilot-driven.
It's kind of like the technology they gave what was his name, Stephen Hawking, where he was able to look at a screen and pick letters and words and key phrases and talk. So and then that's how they operate the planes. It's almost like the Firefox movie with what's it, Clint Eastwood, where he gets the Russian plane and he has to think and speak in Russian to fire the weapons and like turn like certain things on in the plane. It's kind of like that. It's like a heads up.
Yeah, he had to think in Russian.
Heads up remote control.
It's very, 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 very seriously advanced shit.
Yes.
And nobody wants to tangle with him. And you can see him. I mean, we've seen him in action. We've seen the F-35s in action. And I always like that video of the poor Iranian pilots flying in F-4 Phantoms.
Look how it flies. Look how effortless. That way he banked over and just went. He went
but it also went vertical without stalling. We pioneered that technology with the F-15s.
Like effortless.
F-14.
F-14. Sorry. Well, one of those two. 50-50.
Well, because we learned the F-14 for a long time was the only plane that could go vertical because it could roll in its wings.
Yeah.
Because it was a carrier-based plane, they designed it so the wings they would fold over and fold in. So what they would do is when they were full out extended, they could actually fold them in so it made more like a jet. I mean, more like a missile than a jet. Yeah, they said they could go into space if they wanted to. So they were like, no. And nobody ever talks about this, but one of the SR-71s actually went into space.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, nobody knows how they actually got it back down, but it got back down. I often wonder about that. It was leaked a while back. There's actually good video.
I gotta agree with you. Sean Ryan does have some interesting guests on, that's for sure.
Oh, let's blow some shit up, man. All right. We got to go to break anyway. We're getting out of here. We're going to break right quick, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be back in about 10 minutes. This will be a little long break. Last one was a short break.
Kurt.
And we're gonna go dancing naked into moonlight. What are we playing? Oh, we're playing an old song that was remade. That's what we're playing. I forgot all about that. And Kirby, I think we're gonna start giving each host a show night. Yeah, we were talking about that the other day. Not just for this show, for all the shows. Any shows with multiple hosts. Well, no, so you get one host and let them pick the music all night, as long as it's don't get us kicked off.
Right, yeah.
No, I don't. Honestly, we should start off with Michael because he gets some really good songs, and I'm serious about it.
Yeah,
I never got to pick any songs ever. I know I'm the newbie.
Right, so
but I
we'll
can't
start with
pick
Laura Lee. Laura Lee can do it next week, and then Michael's next,
Perfect
and then
timing.
Sean and Jade and me. We'll do it like that. And
Thank you, Sean. Thank you for your vote.
You're welcome, buddy.
Michael
Yes.
does play good music. You do.
Okay,
Mike.
y'all keep making me forget what the hell I'm doing, people. Shut up.
Yeah, when we come back, we're going to talk about the price of red meat, man, because it's going like way up.
We're on Rumble,
yeah.
just in case. We're on Rumble, right?
Yes, ladies and gentlemen. If we fall off, we are on 2 different Rumble pages. You can go find us over there under JoJo Mon 1 and UFO Paranormal, all one word. So you can go find us like that, and we'll be right there. This is disturbed, so I don't I don't know if I'll get us kicked off or not.
I know what song you're playing because I like it.
Well, that's what I just said though. It's an old song made into
I know it.
remade.
It's
So
a sound of silence.
frankly, I think that the new version is much better than the old version. But my own opinion. I don't want to get hollered at by anybody. I know Karen's calling in or anything, okay? And if you are Karen and you got to call in, Michelle DeRoche is who you call. All right, that's
Tell
right.
them Michael Ainsley sent you.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. You tell Michael Angley sent you, and Sean Kelly said to send them too. So you make sure they know both of them. The rest of us are innocent, like little children living in the snowfield somewhere. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, let me cue this up and stop screwing around. We are going on break. Be sure to check us out. We'll be, like I said, back in 8 or 9 minutes. Actually, the song will play first this time around. So y'all know we don't always do it. It pops back and forth or whatever is in my little brain at the time. So on that note, stay tuned for some decent music, and we will see y'all, like I said, 10 minutes or so. Do. Okay, well, I'm not hearing that.
Mute. You're on mute. Turn your volume up.
No, the song starts off like that.
No.
Like, dude's on some heavy drugs. All right, y'all, let's hope we get kicked off. Right, go.
The power agency is built for those who move like predators, decide like weapons, and execute like their life depends on it. You're either fully in, or you're invisible.
Hi, and thank you all for joining us today. We are broadcasting live on the United Public Radio Network and the UFO Paranormal Radio Network, 105.3 on the Gulf Coast and 107.7 FM in New Orleans.
Welcome to Paratruth.
Welcome to Negotiating Happiness, the show that helps you find happiness, success, and balance in your work and life. I'm Adriana Fiestra, your host for this journey into entrepreneurship and personal growth. We're broadcasting live on 107.7 and 105.3 FM in New Orleans as part of the United Public Radio Network. We explore the latest strategies, insights, and stories from successful entrepreneurs and experts. From managing stress to building a thriving business, we've got you covered.
Welcome to the Outer Realm with Michelle DeRoche and Amelia Pisano. Airing live on the United Public Radio Network, 105.3 FM in New Orleans.
Tune in to UFO Undercover, Wednesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern, with your host, Joe Montaldo, right here on the Paranormal Radio Network.
Are you ready to explore the unknown? Dive into the world of the strange, mysterious, and unexplained with Eerie Expeditions magazine. Each issue is packed with spine-tingling tales, cutting-edge paranormal investigations, and exclusive insights into hauntings, cryptids, UFOs, and more. Whether you're a seasoned investigator or just love a good ghost story, Eerie Expeditions magazine has something for you. Join our growing community of truth seekers and adventure lovers. Subscribe today at EerieExpeditionsMagazine.com and unlock the secrets of the supernatural. Are you ready? That's Eerie Expeditions.
What's out there? What creates the shadows in the corners or the creatures of the dark? Who are those on the other side? What do they have to say? This is the Gateway Podcast. This is not your normal style of paranormal talk radio. Brought to you live from United Public Radio Network, 107.7 FM New Orleans.
I need a drum roll thing. Welcome back, everyone. I hope everybody enjoyed those lovely promos and that lovely song got you all worked up and stuff.
So put all the metal here in that guy's face. The guy's face had a lot of metal You know,
I know, man. Just think of a magnet catch.
I'm old
Just rip it all
school.
out at
So
one
he
time.
punches him in his face, he's gonna be thumbtacked. You know what I mean?
It's kind
We
of
used to be
weird.
fighting on Saturday night, man. You didn't want some niggas to yank off of you.
I know. Glinda the Good Witch. I love when you use that, Nick. That's you mean no? Probably tomorrow night. Yeah, we're just really doing news tonight. Why? Who? No, we'll talk about that tomorrow night. Yeah, yeah. We were talking about Mr. Pink Shorts earlier tonight. He's just a fuck.
Oh God, Trudeau.
I mean, he's just. I
You
wouldn't
mean
let him get
Castro's
started.
son?
Yes, Castro's son.
Castro Jr.
What do you mean worried about him? So what's he going to get? A
Lil
chihuahua?
Trudeau.
No. And besides, the Americans would take a dim view of somebody like that suing us. Yes, they might stick him on one of them F-22s and drop his ass out in the middle of the Middle East somewhere. It's well, Trump's making friends with a lot of people. You know, it's he was doing this in his first term. If he had a second term, he'd been kind of dangerous, but now that's been kind of broke up. He's kind of limited to what he can do.
Yeah,
And
but his
he's
first
gotta
term, he was talking to every political leader across the planet.
Yeah, the ones that would talk to him, a lot of them are like, oh, we're not going to talk to
wrong with
you, Trump. A lot of them act like Trump, didn't wipe his ass or something. I mean, it was really
Did you
bad.
see the South African president, man? That
Oh, yeah,
meeting?
that's something we definitely talking about.
I watched that thing, and he's like, "There's no killing of any white farmers," and Trump's like, "Oh yeah, well, let's watch this video. Dim the lights, everybody." And then he comes out with this huge video. Oh my god, it was awesome, man. He just ambushed him, nailed him hard. The guys
Just like
there
he did that guy in
make
Afghanistan.
money and denying about white farmers getting killed. You know what I mean? And all of a sudden,
Yeah.
bang! That was awesome. I love that.
That's what was it? The Taliban guy said, "I know where you live." It's
Yeah.
showed him his family and all. Yeah, we'll blow you up, motherfucker. Don't fuck with us, man.
Did he really do that to the Taliban dude?
Yeah.
He showed him right while they were there. He said, and they quit bombing. It was it. There was no more bombing until Trump left. No, they didn't bomb any shit thing.
I would do the same thing. I'd send the guy a picture of his house. I know where you live.
It's not just his house. His kids were outside playing. Shit.
But it wasn't just that it was a picture of his house. It was a picture of his house from a strategic viewpoint.
Yeah,
in such a way that we have flown over it this many times. We can drop a bomb on you any time of day we want. You'll never
hear it, motherfucker.
Yeah, you will
Little
never
Reaper
hear
drone.
it coming.
Put one of them little Reaper drones up there, one of them Viper drones up there, cruising along. You wouldn't even hear it. Drop a little bomb on it, 500-ton bomb or something. You ain't nothing but dust. That's what they should have done with several of the Middle Eastern people when they went after him. Bin Laden, which we don't even know was actually killed or not. And Hussein, at least we know he got hung.
I don't think Bin Laden was killed. I think they got him on ice.
No, I disagree. The way they buried him, as soon as they dropped him off the side of that Navy ship in the middle of the Atlantic, I was like, "That's bullshit."
That was not a Muslim burial. There was no reason to bury somebody at sea like that. Obviously, like what Jay said.
Well,
you dump that body in there, and then
so what gave it away, right? And I don't know why the media didn't. Well, I know why the media didn't, but. So the thing that gave it away the most was, first off, it was the way that the SEALs teams were talking. I've dealt with them, and that's not the way they handle business. But worse than that, because I don't get myself in trouble. Worse than that, the wives were not right. So he only travels with his number one and his number two, and these two girls were not his number one wife and his number two wife. Both his number one wife and number two wife were in France at the time, with, according to the picture, Bin Laden. He had 40 lookalikes.
Yeah.
And I think he had 40 wives as well. Or more.
A lot of people say Bin Laden was a CIA operative.
Well, he was. No, okay. That's actually a fact. So Bin Laden went to school in the United States, did a lot of work for the United States through the CIA.
I think it's important to note that he came to America on our dime to learn architecture, how to build buildings. If you know how to build something, you also know how to unbuild it.
Even though his family they have billions of dollars, the Bin Laden family,
yes,
one of the richest families in Saudi Arabia. You know what I mean? So but we all know the politics behind all that and money and that type of thing. But that's why he was able to do what he did.
He came over. The CIA took a liking to him. They trained him. They put him in the field as an operative. He was an operative for quite a long time. And then they said, okay, we're going to put you here, and you can rule the country, and just don't let your ego get too big. And of course, that's exactly what he did.
What happened? Yeah.
He started believing his own press, and we can take on America. Really, dude? You were here. What makes you think you can take on America? You dumb fuck.
He tried twice. I mean, he came to school here to learn architecture. He left. Did some CIA work. He left the CIA, but you never really leave the CIA, so they say. But then he came back again and tried to explode the World Trade Center unsuccessfully. Then he was a wanted man. He left again and then came back with, well, he didn't actually come to the country this time. That was smart. But he sent his operatives, 19 or 20 of them, to explode 4 buildings in America, and he only got 3 of them. One of them still stands.
3 buildings, 4 buildings. Just give me a second here. Sorry, guys.
All right, who's got a speaker on? It's So you heard Trump say Building 7 didn't come down because of the plane, right? He actually said that. He was on national television when he said that Building 7 did not come down because of the plane. And I'm like, okay, you said that, you fuck. What made it come down?
Well, I would imagine a lot of the debris coming down from buildings 1 and 2 hitting it and coming down on top of it.
There's a lot of
good reason.
There's a lot of unanswered questions, and I know personally because it was my uncle's trucks, the Beretti carting trucks. You can look at all the videos; they're the first ones in there gathering the debris. They went in, took the trucks, and went. They weren't even asked to, and they said that it was the metal was really weird. Bizarre. It wasn't, that building had an exoskeleton. It shouldn't have collapsed the way it did. Then people in the building recanted all of these workers that were in there for months before, drilling holes, running wires, planting things on all the floors without explaining. They never said what they were just doing maintenance, but they didn't know why. I mean, do you think that was a demolition job? Do you think that
that's the first I've heard that. Everybody else said there wasn't nobody in that building.
Those buildings were supposed to be able to handle a 757 hitting, a 747, hitting. So, I mean, there's a lot of unanswered questions, And all right, so let's say now jet fuel
said that's the way that building was designed.
Jet fuel has to vaporize jet fuel's got to vaporize to explode, right? And then those buildings had a huge hole in the middle of those buildings, a conduit that went down. I mean, huge. They're saying the jet fuel went in there and caused all that meltdown and whatever, but it's impossible because that fuel would have went right down into that hole. And then it went, about 7.
Yeah, but it would have been on fire on the way down, lighting each level.
It went over 70 feet into the ground.
Yeah.
And then the metal people on scene said, I've never seen metal pool like that ever. Only some really high explosive blast that they've seen metal just turn into liquid like that and then pool together these big pools. There's a lot of evidence pointing that not the airplanes did it. The airplanes had the impact, but something else happened. And they said that there was tremors under both of those buildings. The airplanes hit. Then there was 2 tremors, boom, boom, and the buildings came down.
Well, yeah, so that impact would cause tremors. But what people don't take
after the impacts. This was several minutes after the impact.
Well, I can't attest to that. But everyone that talks about the jet fuel not being hot enough to melt the metal is incorrect. That building was filled with plastic and nylon.
And jet fuel, even at 800 degrees when it cools.
Synthetic material,
these are the metal experts, man. These are metal experts. These are people who are experts.
I've heard lots of demolitions say the building wasn't brought down by demolitions.
Yeah,
lots of them have given testimony saying that that's not what caused the building.
Every architect I've ever spoken to,
and JP4, JP5 is plenty hot enough to melt metal into a pool.
Yeah,
I've actually personally seen it, so I know it can do it.
Well, and every architect,
especially if it's in a container where it can blast only the direction.
The building didn't collapse at the top; it collapsed at the bottom. It didn't collapse.
It should have.
It collapsed.
Actually, and that's another thing that bothered me about America. So,
bottom.
So you do know all underneath there was hollow, right? All of it.
Yeah.
All seven buildings were
It's got a
connected.
7-level garage underneath.
But all 7 buildings were connected. There were shafts underneath there. There was tunnels underneath there. They were all connected. So the concussion force of the simple amount of air going down from when that plane hit, and then all that fuel pushing down because the heat was pushing up, was plenty enough to collapse those straight down. That wasn't. And all the demolition experts agreed that's what caused those buildings to come down, because they said if it wouldn't have been hollow underneath like that, then buildings wouldn't have came down.
Yeah.
Just the top would have fell off or something.
Mm-hmm.
They actually admitted to that, and they're being sued over it. Well, we're being sued over it. So that was an admission. That was just poor design. They said that's what brought them all down, which I don't actually believe, but there was no chemicals found that could cause a building to collapse. That was the biggest downfall for the theories, and people can't say it wasn't checked because it was actually put out in the junkyard where anybody could go get it and test it, and it was tested by, last I heard, over 100 different companies tested it. No one's found any dolomite or anything along those lines that would cause that. And there's another problem. There's no flash of like poof, 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 poof through the building as it was collapsing.
Right.
It's very strange, actually. Personally, when it went straight down, I still kind of a little freaked out about that. When I see it like that, but then when you see it like that, you can actually see it. It's just rolling over. Look, it's rolling floor by floor by floor by floor.
That's a controlled.
I have heard some interesting people that testified to things about this, not before Congress, but yeah, that I don't know. That
you can tell this building's not controlled.
Everyone that I know several architects, and everyone that I've talked to, and everyone I've seen on TV that talked about.
But watch how this building comes down. This isn't a controlled.
They fail. So
yeah, but you can tell. Yeah, if you watch, it's folding over. See, it comes over itself. It's just coming down. Each piece is knocking the next piece down. You can actually see it doing it. That's all it's doing. That's not a controlled explosion. It was controlled.
And you can see all that other debris that does fall out. That's hitting the other buildings, building 7 and 4 and 5 and 3 and 2. That's why the other ones failed. They were getting hit with debris from those 2 large buildings.
Yeah, that one right there was definitely not controlled. That was simple. And you can tell the way it came down. The top part had been barbecued for a couple of hours.
If you were controlled, you'd see explosions going down under.
You would see them flashing in the clouds and all as well. Damn. Still, though, it's horrible to watch it.
Mm-hmm.
We did kill 100,000 people over it or something more than that.
There's 2 cops that have a channel on YouTube that were there as first responders, and both of them have some sort of cancer from working there.
Oh, I bet you. There's a lot of people got cancer from that. A lot of first responders got cancer. It's the second one I watched live because I just happened to have been walking in when it happened. The first one I had to go back and watch. I guess nobody's seen the first one live except the people there. It's but the second one, my son and I were just standing there. It was like, wow, what just happened?
I was watching it live when it happened.
Yeah, see how the stuff's tumbling over itself and falling over itself? That's how you know it's not controlled.
I was at a restaurant eating
straight down.
I was at a restaurant eating breakfast. I remember that. It was a Tuesday, I do believe.
Yeah,
it goes straight down.
No, it's falling over itself. Each piece is knocking the next piece down. You can see it when it's hitting. When you watch the top collapse, you can see it slides into the next piece.
The second building.
And remember this: the fronts of these buildings have facades on them. They're welded on. They're not actually bolted on or anything. So when it hits the neck, when it just knocks it loose and knocks the next and next one, it just causes a collapse.
The building
it collapses in the exact same fashion.
All the way it was designed against the skeleton. Yeah. It was a new design. It wasn't like the Empire
I saw that too, Kurt. But he put up there.
See, that's the second building, yes? It's falling in the exact same pattern. One level after another. Boom, 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 boom.
You can see the big chunk piece. That piece went way the fuck out across the neighborhood.
But you can see it is blanketing everything below it. All the buildings below it are getting rained on by that.
Pushing it out. See, as it goes down, you can see the pieces being pushed out from the sides, from the sheer weight of what's coming down from the top.
One of my friends was stuck in that debris.
Look at these, they're fucking running. Look at it. I can run, baby.
I lost friends, man. One guy went to kindergarten with, worked for Cantor Fitzgerald, you know. But I know
Such a
another
horrible
dude.
scene.
He was like stuck in the debris. He couldn't breathe. He couldn't see. Like he was jammed under some kind of car. I don't know, man. Terrible stories, you know.
Jay, ask Google how many people died in Desert Storm. No, not Desert Storm. Was it Desert Storm? Which one we went over there? It was Desert Storm, wasn't it?
My friends on Long Island.
Iraqi war.
Want to hear something crazy? My friends on Long Island, they said no one was allowed to leave Long Island for over 2 weeks. You could where you weren't able to drive over the bridge or take a ferry. You could walk over. You could apparently drive to Queens or walk over the bridge or through a tunnel, which you're not allowed to do. But they said there was a pink cloud over Long Island for those couple of weeks, for 2.5, 3 weeks, and then everything was coated in pink every day, like their cars and whatever. And there's something to take note of. I mean, crazy, huh?
Well, I imagine the building was full of asbestos. I mean, it was an older building. So.
Well, the answer is 174 U.S. soldiers were killed, 41 or 47 UK soldiers, 1,000 coalition troops injured. And it didn't say how many Kuwaitis died, but the numbers, I think, tell the tale. We lost 150 people. I mean, come on. That's a win.
Yeah. Well, no, but I mean, the reason I was bringing it up is because I was thinking about the Palestine thing. We killed at least 100,000 people over there.
Yeah.
In between the two, if not more. I don't even think the Israelis are even close to 100,000 yet. So people are bitching at them, but we went on a rampage for what, 20-year war?
Yeah.
Killing rampage and killing people all over the fucking place. Nobody told us anything, did they? Even the coalition's like, yeah, let's kill some more people. Yeah.
Did you guys see there's some footage they found? Somebody sent me it that they think they might have found a piece of Noah's Ark.
Yeah, I've seen ever since the movie The Late Great Planet Earth, people have been finding pieces. And then the guy who said
I'll send it to you.
He found that half a piece of the ark, the other half had broke off and slid down. It was one part was in Turkey and one part was in.
You mean a spaceship?
Or other countries.
Because it would have been a spaceship.
No, they actually got good video of it, but.
We'll get it. Put it up. We can present video.
I don't know. That was like 100 years ago, man.
I got to get
I was a teenager when I seen that.
They sent it to me today. Where did you send it? Right here. Let's see if I can download it. Yeah, I can download it. So give me this up here.
What the hell was that jumped up on my screen? That was weird.
If there was an ark, how come they didn't bring 2 unicorns on board?
Ark of the, the ark's a weird thing because it shows up in pretty much all the ancient cultures. Long before
I'll grab it right now.
It was a spaceship.
It could have been a Martian spaceship. Hey, it could have been from Mars.
It wasn't terrestrial.
Came in from Mars because it was getting wiped out. It came to live over here with us.
They came and terraformed this planet. They had equipment that could make DNA into anything. All of DNA for all animals on the earth, including insects, have only 4 components: A, C, T, and G. That is it. And then in that order, you make your genes.
Well, that's a little simplifying.
You make your DNA. It shows you what color hair you're going to have, and eye color, and how it's going to unfold over time. Man, if you could really program that and control that, you could keep your heart going forever, your brain going forever, and whatever. It'd be pretty amazing. But we all creatures share the same thing. So we all come from the same fountain. Put it that way. You know
Okay, I'll play this. Hang on. It's not very long. It's just a short clip.
I should play my TikTok video. If you're playing your TikTok, I'm playing my TikTok. Mine is more entertaining. Mine is a video of a squirrel using a trampoline. Everybody wants to see that.
You're right. I just showed. Someone just sent me this today, so I thought I'd bring it up. It's interesting.
Yeah, might as well bring it in. Toss it
it's
on.
Not very long, but like I said, it's long and thin. Yeah, I don't know what it is, but it was interesting nonetheless.
They find
the ark. I don't know, but
there have been some famous king's tomb. That's the problem with all this stuff. I remember this. So I went and seen that stupid movie, Late Great Planet Earth, which was just crazy because when you go through all the prophecies, 86% of the prophecies made in the Bible have already come true. Actually, now it's closer to 91% have actually come true. Sort of us wiping ourselves out. There ain't much else to come true. But hey, we made it past the 36th Pope, so that's a good thing. He was supposed to be last, man. So
he was. Yeah, he was.
Yes, we made it. We made it past, and we got a new Pope, Leo the 14th, and Sean's going over to visit with him and tell him hi and shit. He's courtesy. He's,
oh hell no, I ain't.
Yes, you want to meet the Pope. Don't lie, man. And go over there, give him a big hug and stuff. And
this is the first Pope ever that has sat in bumper to bumper traffic, man. You have to understand.
Pope.
The guy's from Chicago. You got to understand that he's like a real person. I mean, city people, especially Americans.
I was thinking about that, but I've been listening to his two brothers talk lately.
He's always voted. You can't judge people on their family. He's always voted Republican. He's always voted Republican. Always, man. So you got to look at that. He's conservative.
Got a point there.
So good, man. The last guy was a crazy liberal.
You can't always judge people by their family. I have to agree with that.
Last dude was a Jesuit.
But you know what? I had never met a liberal Jesuit before. He's the first liberal Jesuit I've ever even heard of. They got the Jesuits down here. They're very, very conservative. You see that ring they all wear? That some bitches get you anywhere. When you meet a Jesuit, you see that ring. Look, if they all got rings on,
10% off at 7-Eleven, man. You show that ring.
Yeah, get you way more than that, my friend.
You
Yeah, get you way more than that.
You get to buy beer past 4:00 in the morning with that ring.
They
all kinds of stuff.
That's a very exclusive little club they got going on there.
It's the Kiss the Ring Club.
It's the make the billions club is what it really is. It's
they're hardcore. They're hardcore Jesuits. They are hardcore.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, all the Jesuits down here are. It's just the way they are.
Power. It's power, isn't it? It's power over others. And meanwhile, Jesus wasn't about that, was he? But this is about, he was preaching about the ills of power over others. You know what I mean? And there's the very same people, the ones who took over, using him.
Well, I mean, if you look at the model, I mean, he upset the money lenders or the money changers in the marketplace.
That's it.
And within months, he was crucified and killed.
Don't mess with the money.
He messed with the money. He messed with the money system, and they got him. They did the same thing to 4 presidents. The money goers go after the guys who go after the money.
No, that's what got him killed, but
it's what he was arrested for, wasn't it?
Yeah, but that's not what actually got him killed. I mean, first off, Brutus says, he goes, well, how did he say it? How can we hang an innocent man or kill an innocent man? The Israelis actually had to tell them, because he had to let a criminal go to kill Jesus. That's how it worked. They had a murderer-killer that had already been captured, and Jesus had been captured because, he had been turned in for his little 40 pieces of silver. And the thing about it is that he was going to walk because he hadn't done anything, but the Jews had a choice, and the Jews chose to crucify him and let the murderer go. And that's how that worked out. So there wasn't actually any crime at all. It was just simply, Jesus the wrong person.
I'm going to throw this at you, man. As an investigator in my adult life, when I was young, around 11, 12, looking at religions, reading the different stuff about everything, like because I got family that's Jewish and Christian and Catholic, whatever, man, everything and anything, right? Even Buddhist now. But largely they didn't know what Jesus looked like. They wanted when they put warrants out for his arrest, they had no clue what he looked like because he wasn't out there on television. There was no TikTok. He's out there talking to small groups of people, and those guys all kind of look the same. You know what I mean? They all have the same kind of look going. So the deal was he was supposed to pay. It was Judas the 30 pieces of silver. To identify Jesus in a room full of people, go up and kiss him on his lips, and then that was going to identify. But Judas was a gladiator, and he gave up the life to follow Jesus. You really think a guy like that would take 30 pieces of silver and they'll go?
No, you're right, Mike. No,
Or
he
you think he
wouldn't.
would have outed somebody else entirely? Some asshole he didn't even like. You know what I mean? Go up to him in the bar, and then the Romans come and arrest your ass, drag you away, and hang you on the cross. You don't know what the hell happened. I heard the real Jesus took off with Mary, and that
so did I. And I was
the two grails that they talk about him having, the Holy Grails, were actually children, and they went to France and they went and ruled France for a time. Whatever.
Yes.
So
The
that's what I understand.
The bloodline. Mm-hmm.
Yep, Merovingian kings,
and
then
who was
allegedly
left?
from there, Sarah the daughter, and Sarah means princess.
Who was left? But Peter and Paul.
Hey, let's just get this straight. Now you better hope that ain't what happened, because all you motherfuckers are going to burn in hell.
But Peter and Paul.
I got my seat already reserved.
Peter
only the chosen get to go.
Peter
And
and Paul
if Jesus didn't die for the infidels, you don't get to
Peter and
go.
Paul were businessmen, and they were duking it out over the rules of what the church should be and all these other things. And then they put words in Jesus' mouth of stuff he never even said. You know, their opinion. It wasn't about some kind of savior. It was about selling and control, man. You know?
Okay.
And Paul wanted people to
you put too much into something that only was a short period of time. So, because Jesus
a
was
short period of time, but you know what? It's still rolling on today.
Correctly, because we've done shows on this very topic.
People put a lot into belief, but their belief shouldn't
But
be.
there wasn't no need to believe. That's what I'm trying to tell you, Mike. We just did shows on this dude. There's a trace. You can trace Jesus. You can trace him through Rome. You can trace him into the Mesopotamia.
It's not about mystical figures and this guy and whatever. You know,
dude, you're very wrong. There was. See, you're only basing it on Jesus on what you've learned from the Bible. I can tell because you don't know about Mesopotamia. You don't know about Rome.
All the power in the universe ain't one dude.
Jesus left Israel probably because he had been threatened when he was young.
Was with one dude. Come on, man. That's not even plausible. That's not even plausible to think.
Everything is plausible.
Everything, yeah. There's a legend that
Jesus everything is plausible.
If you feel self-important as a monkey on this planet,
but it doesn't matter. He didn't feel self-important. So you missed the whole purpose.
If you feel like the universe surrounds you,
missed the whole purpose.
You're the only life in the universe.
So do it correctly. These people came to come see this guy when he was a kid from all over the world. Just showed up at the house. So, oh shit. That's okay. That happens for every baby. No, I don't think so. But anyway, he grows up. Somewhere along the line, he got scared or he got too big and he left. We know he was in Rome because different Roman governors were writing to the Roman emperor at the time saying, hey, what do you want to do about this guy? He's in my town preaching. This is written in several places. We also know he's in Mesopotamia because he was invited by the emperor there to come help heal him.
I got
news. These are all things before you even get into what the Jews and the Christians say.
Trail leads that he went to India. You know what I mean? And he was influenced by a lot of
India.
But what about his brother Thomas, his twin? And Thomas means twin. Thomas was also a disciple. People don't want to talk about Thomas, but Thomas was there, right? And Thomas also could do the same magic and the same stuff. But what people described as magic and miracles, maybe that was their interpretation. I wasn't there. I can't tell you, but I can tell you the way people are today, and they're the same back then as today. So a bunch of full of shit people, and it's the biggest bullshit story ever told. It's about keeping people under control. That's it.
Well, it is, unless you can trace the ancestry, which you can do. You can trace him all the way to the day he died.
Well, then go back to Judaism. Because technically speaking, we're all Jewish. Because we all started off as Jewish. Abraham was Jewish. We're all Jewish. People deviating. Christianity and Judaism are very similar, as a matter of fact. But they don't believe in the New Testament. The Old Testament is also the Jewish Bible. You know, but they don't believe in the New Testament. So
nobody cares about that. That's not, none of that's going to get you into heaven, my friend.
But Joe, you can't trace Jesus throughout his entire lifespan through the Bible and other works. There are
not through the Bible. You don't have to. That's what I'm saying when I was telling Mike. You don't have to trace him through the Bible. There are mentions in him by the Mesopotamians talking about him, but there's more than that. There's mentions of him in the Romans.
Yeah, and so what's not mentioned is that when he was 12, he allegedly pushed a friend off of a building and killed him, and then ran down to his aid. And while he was witnessed by the villagers, he brought the kid back to life, and then that's when he disappears from the Bible. And then the next time he comes back to the Bible, he's 36. And then those years, those 24 years or whatever that are missing, are written in the apocryphal texts and Dead Sea Scroll type stuff.
But see, you don't even need any of that because the Romans write about him out of context. So he's just traveling and they're writing about it.
Yep.
And it's not just that. He's also been written about where he was by the Romans. So the Romans actually put a pretty good. And then on top of that, the Muslims wrote about him and the Mesopotamians wrote about him.
And the Asians as well. There's a
So
rumor
you have,
he met with Siddhartha Gautama, the Buddha.
but over his 26 years or 30 years, you have multiple places that you know he was because these people were writing about him being there. Whether the Christians want you to know that or not, that's the Vatican shit. But that's not something that bothers us because you can trace his history. And that's more important to know who the man was by knowing who his history was. As far as miracles go, whatever he was producing, that were great things because he's doing great things. But a lot of the miracles, I think it's 86 or 90% can be reproduced now by man. And of course, we're not gods; we're morons. But our technology is getting better and better and better and better and better and better. And pretty soon, we will have the equipment to be able to wave our hands over somebody and cure them. It's not that far out.
The truth is in the Old Testament. All people need to do is read the Old Testament. The truth is that, do I believe Jesus existed? Yeah. Do I believe that he was the one power of the universe? No, of course not. And
it's not the one power of the universe. See, Mike, where'd you get that from? All Jesus is your savior. Without Jesus, I listen to Christians, dude. I was raised Catholic Baptist. My wife was Pentecostal. Yes, we know a little bit about this. So the thing about it is, it's not what's going on.
You know a little bit about what you were told.
Jesus even came to earth.
But what about the reality of it?
Because the Jews tell you very, very bluntly, only the 12 tribes get to go. Only the 144,000 people get to go. Boom, that's it. Heaven's closed, my friend.
Is that why they're trying to
they are the chosen people. By everybody agrees they're chosen people, including the Muslims.
There is no 144,000.
All the chosen people. We're fucking.
That was something that was made up. There's also there's a lot of stuff that was made up.
You better hope. You especially better hope he exists.
There's a lot of stuff that was made up along the way. A lot of stuff made up along the way.
There's always going to be stuff made up.
Let them believe it. But I believe the reality of it.
That's the point. You don't have to wait to the Bible. There is stuff written at the time of his life. You don't have to wait for all that shit to find out who the guy was. You can check. The Mesopotamians talk about it.
Do you know that there was over 30 Johns who wrote the book of John, and one leaves off, another one begins, over 30 Johns for hundreds of years? Come on, man. It's a fantasy writing. It's fantasy writing. Really,
nobody worries about the Bible.
Actually, since the Second Temple period on, is all fantasy writings. All the old stuff.
The Bible was written by man for the control of man. That's all the Bible is.
All the old stuff, documents on.
Why are you so hung up on that, man? The Bible and the man are not the same thing. The Bible was written after his death. 300 years after his death?
Bible. I've read all that crap. You know what I mean? It's a lot of stories.
You're missing the point. The only thing you have to worry about is just what was written in Aramaic at the time of the man's life.
Jesus was
everything else was written by man.
Him the same way. They would
you're wasting your breath now.
He comes out speaking out against oil companies or whatever, man. See how fast he lasts. You better have some magic power because they're coming. You know what I mean? That's you know what the reality is. It's ugly. It's ugly, and it's a guy who gave up his life for love. If you want to get down to the core of it, what Jesus really was, and that's the message. It's not about power. It's not about money. It's not about desire and corruption and all that brings you down the bad path, doesn't it? So you know what? He gave up his life for something he thought was important, or he took off for France and lived as a king. Take your pick. Take your pick.
Look, even Fiona said she's had enough of your ass. She's done moved on. He's like, we had enough.
But in the Bible, there was only two people who ever ascended to heaven alive, and that was Enoch and that was Jesus. So you got to look back to Enoch, how those guys lived 900 years.
Jesus is pretty good when he went to heaven.
Obviously, they weren't human. If they lived 900 years. Did they make
Sean's hypnotized, man. What do you look at him? He's down here in the zombie land.
Noah was 900 years old when he died.
You got the popcorn?
He was a giant. He was
maybe Noah's great grandson.
Listen to the story.
No, I'm on new medication. I'm on new medication.
I need some new medication. Send me some of that shit.
And there's no date on the Old Testament. They just say a long goddamn time ago. A long time ago. You know, ain't just 40 days and 40 nights, dude. You know what I mean?
What do you mean it's not a date? You can date.
We're talking
So
about
listen.
early history of
You want to date the Old Testament? I'll help you. Since
people who came here,
apparently you don't know how to do these kind of things.
What they had to do. And also, spirits don't die. They've proven that energy lives on. So we're part of a system, you know. But I'm not saying
anybody prove their bullshit. Energy gets absorbed into the universe and recycled. You die, motherfucker.
That all of this going on.
Your energy is not powerful enough to diverse.
You can't tell me that all this going on is not the core of intelligent design. Obviously, it is.
What's intelligent design? You want to know the truth, Mike? This is what happened, man. Universe went bang. It became sentient. When it became sentient, it realized, oh fuck, what the hell am I? So it created all the life forms in the universe, so it could break itself off into little bitty pieces, so it could figure out what the fuck it was. And when you die, you just turn back into energy. You're absorbed in the system. And then later on, you may be pissed out at somebody else one day, but not you, not your consciousness. None of that shit's going on. The universe ain't worried about that. The universe just takes energy and shreds it and uses it. And all you have to do is look out into the universe to see that. And all we are is energy. So you know what's going to happen to us. It's going to say, oh, look, some energy. Give me that energy.
I've seen too much evidence on little kids who remember their past lives.
True.
The ones who
I agree with
give
that.
out their names and location, how they died, what they were, who their friends were.
One kid solved his murder from his previous life.
I've seen too many children that were virtuosos who could play the piano better than Beethoven, man. So all of that energy comes around and goes around. Those are the things.
Yeah, so you just made my point for me. So every once in a while, every 100 million people, one of them might coalesce into something, but the rest of them are shredded up into energy and recycled. So you proved my point for me, because if what you were saying was true, we would all come back with the same. We would come back with more knowledge in each life, but we don't.
That's
knowledge is it.
I have watched people make some of the stupidest mistakes. They say, I'm an old soul, and you're making mistakes like that. Get the fuck out of here.
That's the point. Coming back with no memory.
Are you here to make mistakes?
So you don't know shit.
We better be here to learn.
What would be the use of recycling yourself every time? The universe just takes you, cleans you out, puts you out there. You're done. You're over with. Like I said, maybe one day you might get lucky and coalesce with somebody, but more than likely, you're just energy being re-navigated into another world. Remember, people were all what? Star stuff. We all came from where?
You want to hear
matter in the universe. And where are we all going to go back to?
You want to hear something?
Matter in the universe.
You want to hear something screwed up, man? Powerball. 2 weeks ago, I go to the gas station, put gas in, I get a quick Powerball. I was one number off of each number from heading.
That's what you said.
How screwed up that is?
That
like,
hurts.
if it was 17, I chose 16. If it was 25, I had 24. I was like, you got to be freaking kidding me, man. Like, what?
That's because the universe is teaching you a lesson. Learn how to fucking count, man.
Suffer more. It's laughing in my face, saying, "Fuck you."
Hurts. That hurts.
Suffer, you bastard.
It's don't worry. When you're crossing over into the blackness, you'll be okay, because you'll be dispersed.
Oh, you need money then.
Hey,
well,
Mike.
you need money to pay your bills.
Hey, Mike, did we hear
dispersed.
anything about our $5,000 check we're getting?
I don't believe it. I don't believe anything. I don't believe.
No. So who was getting the 5,000? It was the people who had pension plans and stuff like that, who were on a pension plan. They're the ones.
We're not in Canada.
I'm not even going to see any of it. It's one of those things.
We're not getting it. And that's the whole point.
I wouldn't be old enough anyway, but that's like Medicaid.
Everyone's going to get everyone's getting a $5,000 check. What do you think?
That's what they said, but I don't believe it.
I haven't heard.
When I cash that check, I'll say, "Wow, I believe it."
What is? See, that's why when people tell me, "Oh, we $500 billion, we all get $1 million." No. $5,000, if I remember correctly, for 350 million people is around $10 trillion. It's a lot of fucking money. It's not going to really happen. I know all those little things they were talking about doing the COVID. It ran up around 15 trillion.
Well, no. Don't say everybody, because it was only for taxpayers. So not the kids, not the babies, nothing like that. No welfare, nothing like that.
I get all my checks when
$5,000 check for taxpayers, a refund for taxpayers. So yeah, if you paid your taxes last year, you can get that check.
There you go.
That's what they're saying. That's a whole different number right there. How many taxpayers are in the U.S.?
It's about 73%, 60, 69.
I think it's
somewhere between 68 and 73. We did it on the show before, but
I feel like I'm paying all taxes for everybody.
it's well, you heard the boss man. He wants to do away with income tax. Now, my state has already done away with it.
It's supposed to be temporary, anyways.
Yes. So Mississippi is one of the states who no longer has a state income tax. It's going away, which is nice. Plus, we're already 14% cheaper than anybody else in the country on prices. Which I'm like, wow. Yeah, that's nice down here too. Unfortunately, we're starting to grow again. Once it gets pretty, it starts looking touristy. People just start pouring in. When I bought my house, there was 2 houses in this neighborhood, 2 inside neighborhood. Now there's 400. I'm like, you fuckers.
Wow.
I'm like, leave. I mean, it just drives up the value of my house. Also drives up my taxes, but still, it's a good and a bad thing.
I love my neighbors. I tell them almost every day. I've been here 5.5 years. Nothing like having great neighbors.
Well, on my left side of my house, I didn't have any neighbors until recently. Until a guy comes and builds his house. I'm like, son of a bitch.
Heidi's right, though. The crime, I can tell you, boy, doesn't matter where you
live.
All
right, so here it is right here, man. 156 million people filed their taxes. That times 5,000 is $765 billion.
Okay,
that's affordable right there for this government. If they're finding all that money everywhere, you know what I mean? And tariffs on top of that, it's doable. But will they do it? Will they do it?
Yeah, I don't know. Depends what Trump has plans on that money for.
They took the tax off of tips. He's got a lot of friends there. There's a lot of people who are going to appreciate him. You know what I mean?
Well, not just tips. He took it off of overtime.
Yeah.
You know how much fucking money I paid in when I was young in overtime?
Not yet. It was just tips the other day. They didn't do overtime yet, but they're working on
it. When I seen the bill today, it said overtime.
No, overtime.
The bill that passed. Yeah, the bill that passed had overtime in it.
Yeah. The one that
the one that passed. It's passed.
Yeah, maybe today. I'm talking about the one the other day.
I heard it passed the reps. It didn't pass Senate yet. Did it pass the Senate?
No, it's not even being reviewed by the Senate yet. It just. I think they
halfway through.
Yeah, so and it's going to come back to the House before it gets passed. The Senate's going to want to change some shit in it. Everybody's just wanting to make sure that Medicaid, Medicare is exactly what they say it is. So mostly what they're doing with them is just making it where illegals can't get Medicaid and Medicare. Period. They don't want them on it at all. So, and Trump said that should be enough of the budget to lower the budget so nothing else, the benefits shouldn't have to be messed with for everybody else.
Yeah, they didn't pass it yet.
Yeah, it passed the House today.
No, it didn't. I just read
it. It did. No, it did, Mike. I watched it on the news. It passed the House.
I just read the story.
I don't know. It passed the House.
They're waiting for it to go through.
The Senate yet.
They're waiting for it to go through.
It passed the House by
214 to 215.
Passed the House by one vote.
Yep, 214 to 215.
There were 2 Republicans that voted no, and another one voted present.
Yeah.
So it was 215 to 214. It passed the House. It's going to the Senate. The Senate's going to look at it. The Senate's going to reject it. It's going to go back to the House. After the Senate looks at it, they're going to send it back to the House with a list of shit they want.
It's got to go to the president.
No. It's going to go back to the House. There's got to be some things changed because the Senate's going to want some things changed. Then they're going to send it back to the House after they revote on it again. They'll go back to the House.
Oh yeah, like a year from now.
You know, in about 2 weeks, 3 weeks, they should have it signed. They were trying to get it signed for this weekend, but it's just not going to happen. I mean, unless the Senate stays in and figures out a way and just passes it, which they could do. They got the votes to pass it. It's but there's some things in there. I know some senators wanted to make sure was changed. So
if Trump gets rid of all that stuff, man, taxes and whatever, people are going to love him forever.
Right.
They're going to have more money. They're going to spend their money. They're going to stimulate the local economy. They're going to go out to more restaurants. They're going to buy more local stuff. They're going to buy nicer stuff for their homes. buy better stuff for their kids. Come on, man. It's going to stimulate the economy. It's not just like you're giving people money, they're going to sit on it. They're going to invest it and do whatever. It's good. It's positive, man.
As long as the Democrats don't get in for the next 8 or 10 years, the economy will get nice and steady.
They got to work on lowering property taxes. And I know that's largely state, but I'll tell you, man, they're robbing people. And then, it's hurting renters. It's hurting everybody in between. It's making affordable housing unaffordable. You know what? It makes moving into a nicer area very hard to do because those taxes are always really high.
I know he's got a committee looking at suggestions for these kind of things. He said because he thought the housing market was a little out of control. This is a billionaire saying the housing market's out of control for us. And by the way, I was also reading part of the bill. There was no hike taxes on us, and he did actually the taxes that had suspended on the rich last time. He put them back in place, so you got to pay the rich people. Going to pay more taxes, not a lot, but more, because you don't ever want to tax the rich too much because all they do is send it back to us. That's all they ever do. Let's raise the rich people. No. Yeah, so you raise their taxes, it raises our prices. That's how the game is played. Mm-hmm. When you hear a politician say that right there, you should throw him out and say, "No, sweetheart, I'm sorry, but you don't know nothing about politics. Get the fuck out, because that's not how it really works."
Our housing is just as bad up here. Nobody can afford to live. Kids are living.
Maybe the AOC can move to Canada and become a politician.
You know what else? Too, even our property laws. You know how you guys can pass if you own property down to your children and what? You can't do that up here. You have to pay major capital gains to own it and pay all these massive taxes. You just can't.
We got to pay a lot of taxes. Not as much as we used to, but we got to pay a lot of taxes.
Yeah, but
they get about a third. Oh yeah. But they get about a third. It used to be 2/3. Now it's about a third. Maybe a little more than a third. It's all fucking Michael's fault anyway.
Yeah,
my fault.
Yeah, he did.
I told him tax people, tax.
That's right. Tax.
You got to control them through debt or relief.
Tax.
Well, if you take George Carlin's advice, he was mad that churches at the time where they had lobbyists trying to change public policy and enact law. He said if they want to enact law, tax these people, tax these motherfuckers is what he said. Tax every church and every religion.
Agreed.
And you wouldn't need to tax the damn people because guess what? People give to their churches every day.
They should tax churches.
I agree.
Yeah, I agree. This is how when I look at churches,
steady income revenue source. Period. You would never have.
But I look at churches a little bit differently. So churches should be taxed. Now, if you're a church system, like a good Baptist, good Catholic system, that's really putting into the community, okay, you should get breaks. But if you're like, what's his name, screaming on the monitor, on beating on the things, and making $40 million, fuck that, man. You need to pay 30%.
Especially when you're driving in a private jet.
You need to be 30%. Like, man, that's bullshit.
Yep. Agreed.
Monasteries with millions of people in them. Yeah, you need to pay a good bit. Get the fuck out of here with that shit.
Agreed. Absolutely.
For Catholics vary because there are a lot of good Catholics out there and a lot of good things, and there are a lot of
these are organizations that are cult religions that are based on fear and fear mongering. They only care about money. They're huge. They're taking a ton of money. They produce nothing. They produce no product. They don't do anything. You know what I mean? But take that money and they do invest though. They do own a lot and they do.
Yeah, but look at the Vatican. The size of it. It's almost a country unto itself.
They're very rich.
Technically, it is a little country.
They are their own country. They are their own country.
Yeah, and they are the largest. The Catholic Church is the largest owner of property on the planet.
Mm-hmm. And they're still in Italy, but I know they're considered a country unto themselves, and the size of it, and the money, and
Vatican City is considered its own separate country within the country of Italy. Yeah.
They're a sovereign nation. You know what? It's power. It's about power. That's all it is. It's power.
Follow the money, and you'll see exactly what goes on there.
Hey guys, I got to go to work tomorrow, so
get out of here, man. We'll see you tomorrow. You be good. Get some sleep.
Night.
Don't go
Be safe. There's freaks out there, man. Watch out.
Yeah, we go Dexter now.
I'll see you tomorrow night on the
See
chat.
ya.
Good, baby.
All right, bye.
Bye.
Hey, what they supposed to be giving away something tomorrow? What the hell? Maybe we'll give some away on the other show.
I made a cool ghosty. I got a new 3D printer, like I said, so I was printing out stuff. Made these super cool ghost keychains and all kinds of stuff.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Laura's having a ball with this thing. You make some money with those things. I had a friend of mine makes pretty good money with
it. I think I showed it to you, Jay. I think I did, but I printed it. Looks like a coffin with a skull on it, and you put like a candle inside. That printed up pretty nice. Didn't take too long. Just got to start to understand how to do CAD programming and stuff, but it's pretty cool.
Yeah, there's some neat stuff you can do. There's a lady that sells, I don't know if it's a lady or a guy, they're like articulated 3D printed things like whales and animals and dogs.
I have one for a skull or a spider. It looks like a pumpkin. And then when you open it, it opens into a spider. So I'm going to try that one next. Thanks, Heidi. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Good way to keep busy, keep the brain working. Right?
Yeah. Besides, like I said, them things can make a little money down the line. Yep. It's I watched a couple people make money with them. I guess it depends on what you're doing with them. But
once you get the hang of them all and everything. Once you don't end up
making ghost guns,
those things.
Like ghost guns. Isn't that how you make ghost guns with 3D printers?
That actually, yes, didn't that guy make one from a 3D printer?
Yes, actually. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Actually, he did, if I remember right. It's
so now we can arm all the Canadians, I guess, if you get a 3D printer.
What he did was he manufactured the slide, but the handle part he had from a gun, like a real gun.
Oh, did he?
I think that's how it worked. Yeah.
Yeah, because when I saw it, it looked like it was all 3D printed. He looks like he used the filament, not the resin with it. So you could do it. I haven't figured out how to do it yet, but I got a program. You can make anything with the 3D printer. If you know how to put it into the program, it'll make it for you.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's a felony here. I try to avoid them when I can.
I have
what I did, my friend.
Doing I would never be making one. I have no use for a gun, but still.
You get real trouble with that.
Otherwise, I don't need a 3D printer. I already got it.
Yeah, you don't need one. Yeah, you're years ahead of us Canadians.
We're all heavily armed here in America.
Oh, good. All right. So I see you've definitely helped out your friend Karen.
Karen?
Or whatever her damn name is.
Carrie Lynn?
Carrie Lynn. I was looking at I was doing Friday night's numbers. I was sending them to Michelle while we were talking. Her show Friday, what was it? 638, 297 she did today.
How many?
6, that's what I'm saying. 638,297 she
I'll
did
tell
today.
her she'll be she had a really good guest on. She needs to come back. I have a guest I have to talk to you about that was on, and she was the elite family in South Africa, and she was sold to a handler at the age of 4 till about 13, and I had her on. She's got a big channel and she's mixed up with some big people. And I gotta tell you about it. She started talking about vampires, going to feed the vampires at the age of 4 with her handler. And I'm telling you, people were glued Monday night. They're going, she needs to come back. She needs to come back. She's a really good remote viewer, Beverly Rhodes.
It's you and her did 8/14/178.
Right on. Awesome.
Thursday, yeah, y'all are back
up. We dressed up. I was Catwoman, and she had Carolyn had a owl because we did omens of death, like banshees and things like that.
What's it? What Laura? Oh, I was giving Lorelai numbers from her show yesterday and Carolyn's show today.
Good, she'll be happy.
Well, we were sitting here talking.
What's that?
The whole world got to hear. Yeah, bite me. How's that? Somebody give me shit about not talking about. They said you just started talking about numbers. We don't know what the hell those mean.
That's true. They wouldn't.
Yeah, we're not doing polls. These aren't poll numbers.
Yeah. She'll be happy to hear that. I'll let her know.
But everybody's shows have been doing pretty good. What else did you send me? Hold on, let me see. We might have something
We're
good.
doing true crime and the paranormal next week.
Oh, we got what we giving away tomorrow. Wait, let me see. We might have to do this. We have to look at this while we're talking. Oh, where's my email?
I'll give away a keychain if they want. I'll bring it and you guys see if you want one. Make it. It's
Yeah,
just
we like giving away stuff. One of these shows, we give Michael's ass away. Be like, 2 girls will be at his door. Oh, Joe said we could have you, dude.
That was Carrie Lynn's guest tonight, Marilyn Kaufman, past life regressionist, and she did between lives regressions and stuff. She's really an interesting lady. She's awesome.
That's what happens. Good guests do good things, man.
Yeah.
No, she's on after it's
Father
Matrix,
Sean.
Father Sean. Yeah, she's after Father Sean. Yes. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Spirit Hit Woman.
Spirit Switchboard.
Spirit Hit Woman sounds better.
The robots.
That's the Tesla Optimus. This is
really?
This is the one that
Yeah, Tesla's going to make so much money off this. It's not even going to be funny.
And he makes it affordable.
Yeah, well, he is. That's what he said. Japan thought they could keep up. China thought they could keep up. There's no way around them. They're doing everything they were supposed to do.
Wow, have they progressed? Because that's a heck of a lot smoother than anything I've ever seen.
Not on wires, walks by itself. I mean, pretty amazing.
When I see it, I always think it's stupid. What was that?
This is a while ago. They just had another.
Tesla's got so much stuff in the works. Elon's got so much stuff in the works, and he is right. He needs to go back taking care of his businesses. But
yeah, but they
come. Wait! I got to tell you. So I got to tell you this. So Tesla is now in second place in Europe, first time ever. I forgot who's beating them out, and the guy made a big deal out of it. So at the end, you know what the price difference? How many difference in cars sold? 70.
$70.
No, 70 cars. There was only 70 cars difference between first and second place. So this guy's talking like, they whooped Tesla's ass in 70 cars. Tesla still sold like 15,000 cars over there. I'm thinking, even with the bad press out of New Orleans, they still sold. I mean, out of U.S., they still sold. Look at this guy. Go, baby, go. Bring him down, body.
Yeah, but why does it look like a stormtrooper?
Does kind of.
Does.
I'm telling you, if you ever seen that goofy TV series, what is it, Horizon, the one with Seth, the guy Seth, what he did, one of the big cartoons.
Oh God, American Dad.
Yeah. Anyway, no, he did another one besides that one too, though.
This is part of the plan for Mars, man.
Everything he's doing, and I try to tell this to people every time I talk to him. Everything Elon is doing is to go to Mars. Everything, every company he owns, everything he owns, and he owns quite a few companies now that nobody even talks about, subsidiaries and shit. This is to go to Mars. He's going to Mars. He's like, fuck y'all people, I'm going to Mars.
He's going to go down in history as the guy who bridged the gap to Mars. You know what I mean? His technology, his
Heidi, it's a goofy cartoon TV series. American
Seth MacFarlane.
But he was in he was something else he had too. But Seth was cool, but he did wasn't that the name of Horizons? Maybe I got the name wrong. And but anyways, it was a rip off of Star Trek. It was.
Yeah, and it's actually getting. They're on like their third or fourth season. It's I got a lot of Star Trek friends of mine are really into it.
Yeah, well, it's not coming back. From what I heard, its third season was the last, or fourth, whatever it was the last. But in one of the seasons, they got these robots that were made to help these people out, and they got more sophisticated, did more things, and finally robots developed feelings, and humans are pigs. They treat them badly, and so the robots had enough and said, "Woof."
You know what they canceled that I'm shocked about, and it was a good show? Kevin Bacon, he did The Bondsman. There's only one season about it. He was a bondsman for hell. He came back, and every week they were trying to capture a different type of demon. It was a pretty cool show.
For some reason they just and paranormal's waning for some reason right now. I'm not exactly sure. Paranormal was all over for a long time. And right now it seems to just be waning just a little bit. I'm not exactly sure why, but it is.
Because the Mr. Tight t-shirt wearing gentleman is in a lot of trouble because his ex-girlfriend that was the Playboy bunny is spilling the tea everywhere. It's not good for him. Never mind that his camera dude, Aaron, his wife tried to have him taken out with a hitman. That was all over in the news too.
These are just nuts, man.
I know, you can't make this stuff up.
Well, I was going looking for something now. I forgot what the hell. Oh, yeah, I remember now. I was going to my email. That's what I was doing. I'm going to go see Frank Favetta. I've been tongue tied all night. I couldn't even say chiropractic. See, I can't do it now. I have not been able to say chiropractic all fucking day long. I don't know what that is, man. Oh,
Frank
man.
Sinatra at the proms.
This is Frank.
Yeah, this is actually Kurt. Kurt said so. It's pretty good.
He could pass for Bublé, I'd say.
He could pass for Frank. You know, that's not bad.
Not bad. He sounds good.
Spit it out there. Spit it out there, people. Where'd this go?
I'm not that fan of that kind of music, but I'll give him props. He sounded good.
Where did you send this, John?
He's a fairly well-rounded. I mean, there's so few. Hollywood, when motion pictures and television and all were just coming up, the entertainment of the time before that, there were only two things people could do. They had radio and they had vaudeville. Most of the people that started in silent film came out of vaudeville. Film became talkies very quickly within 10 years, but still, most of the entertainers were out of the live vaudevillian acts that traveled all around the country. Hundreds of different acts. They had singers, they had dancers, they had slapstick comedy, regular comedy, all stand-up comedy, all of it. Abbott and Costello came through there. The Three Stooges, there were four. This was Ted Healy and his Three Stooges, and they ditched Ted and became their own. All the funny stuff you saw in the 50s and 60s 40s and 50s TV shows, that's 1900s entertainment. That's turn of the century entertainment.
And the 20s, 30s were wild in the entertainment industry. Wild. Holy cow. You hear some of those stories from back then? Oh.
Well, you begin to get in the 30s with motion film. That's when you really begin to get everything that you see in a movie theater, they have in that first decade. They've got porno, they've got dissolves, they've got transitions that are like, we have they call it a wipe, where the screen goes like this and what comes behind is another scene. There's special effects, there's science fiction, there's documentary, there's real life. They had it all on film, but the problem was couldn't hear anything. It's just film. It's just, wow, there goes a train. It'd be really cool to hear it go.
Yes.
Down the frame, down the screen, but they didn't have that for the first 20 years or so.
Oh, so Kurt wants to know. He says Michael Bublé, I love him also, and he says, why do they call them crooners or something like?
Yeah. Because there's a bird called a croon.
But they don't sound. I guess sing like a bird. I guess I don't know.
And also when you're arrested, I'll sing like a canary.
So, also used to make you sing like a bird when you were arrested.
The human voice is always been, because the only other animals that sing are birds and whales. We didn't know that way back when.
Yes, we just thought those were horrible, scary sounds coming out of the water.
Oh my God, who farted in the ocean? I don't know, but get out.
Somebody sent me a video last week of this orchestra out in this raft in the middle of the ocean, and they started playing to make it sound like whale sounds. And again, it could be AI, but it looks real. But there's all these whales that start coming around and answering the call. It was a pretty cool video.
It sounds like a AI Busby Berkeley with
whales. I just said it could be AI. You never know. What do we got there?
If I can find my way back, I'll tell you.
Is it Jim Meskimen?
No, that is Jim wishes that was him. I'm sure. That is a Frank Frazetta.
Frank Frazetta.
Yeah, which one of his posters? We could give away 10 of them tomorrow.
Wow.
Nice.
I've never seen him do modern stuff like that. He's always done like fantasy.
You know what
art.
this is, right?
Huh?
You don't know what this is?
Commander Cody? I have no idea.
Okay, can you see over here? Can you see right there? Not enough light on. That's one of his back there. That's an original back there.
Oh, wow.
That was a gift. But anyway, that's the reason I'm showing you this. Battlefield Earth.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
He did all that stuff for Battlefield Earth. And that's what that is. It's Battlefield Earth. So not only is it from there, I don't know why that book does so well. You know, I don't know why the movie still does it. The book I can kind of understand because if you ever listen,
I know why it did well, and it's only because of 3 words: Battlefield Earth.
Well, that's true too. But if you listen to it, you know, just before Christmas, just before New Year's and Christmas, there's a 44-hour version that John gave me. It's an audio version. All the bells and whistles, the whole 9 yards. It's fucking fabulous, actually. And I'll play it, you know, a few hours every day. I'll just let it run when I'm doing stuff, and I'll be listening to it, you know, off and on. It's, man, I tell you what, it's well worth listening to. It's really takes the movie where to the place it should have been. You know, and we didn't learn how to fly Harriers in a day, shit like that. So it definitely changes the way you get out of it. But there's 2 I got from it. Mission Earth is 10 books. I think it's 50 hours.
Wow.
Or 60 hours that I listened to. Actually, it was well worth it too. Jim Mescalin does do the villain's voice in the first 8 books anyway.
I looked into his IMDb profile after we did an interview with him on your show on Saturday, the Writer's Quill, and I was surprised how many of the voices he did were on shows that I watched. I had no idea it was him. I mean, I didn't know who he was until
voice actors in particular make so much money if they're good at it compared to, like, I think Mel Blanc was like a multi-billionaire before he died.
And his son Mel Blanc Jr. also did the, and then he also had the fast talker John Machida and his son John Machida Jr. They did a voice for the Transformers called Blur, and he spoke really fast.
Yeah.
But both of them died really young, and so did the Mel Blanc and his son.
But they make a lot of money if they're good at it.
Quick, yeah.
Look at Seth MacFarlane, even that we just showed. Look at all the voices he does and how talented he is.
And you got the guy on The Simpsons. I forget his name, but he does like the bulk of the.
Hank Azaria. Hank Azaria.
Thank you. Yep. He does the bulk of the voices. He does like 30, 40 voices.
Yep. Yeah, he's really talented, and he's an actor too. So.
Yeah. I first encountered him in, I think it was Herman's Head.
The Birdcage. The Birdcage. I loved him in.
I never saw that, but he was in a TV show on HBO.
You have to see it. It's hilarious.
I believe he was in a.
Michelle said y'all better tighten y'all's asses up.
Oh, really?
Really? So what could they want? What's their request?
I don't know. I talked to her right here. She said, "Tell him I said tighten it up."
Okay.
Well, Laura Lee, if you like him, he was in a show called Herman's Head. I believe was the first show I saw him on, and the show's premise was this guy Herman has these 4 different personalities in his head that help him navigate his world.
Okay.
And Hank Azaria was one of the 4 personalities up there, and it was a pretty good show. One of them was feminine, and the other 3 were male, but it was a very, very good show. Very funny.
Well, I'll have to check it out.
Yeah.
Is there any? I love Rick and Morty. Kurt's asking any Rick and Morty fans. Yes, I love Rick and Morty.
not really. I try to look at it. The animation kind of messes with me. The show, the Star Trek animated show, Lower Decks, is done in that Rick and Morty style.
Yeah.
But just the show, the topics on the show just were uninteresting. So I never really got into it.
Here we go. You guys start talking Star Trek. I'm ending the show right here, man. You'll be on till 5 o'clock in the morning talking about Captain Kirk. I'll see you
No,
guys.
he can't because I got to keep track for Sean. Sean said I got to keep the tab rolling.
I was gonna say I used to like Ren and
No.
Stimpy, way away from
Yeah.
the
Oh.
ST.
I'll see you tomorrow on the chat. Beam me up, Scott.
Be
Bye.
good, baby. See you tomorrow, Michael. Be
Bye.
good. Yeah.
Bye.
It's Jesse Lee James. Jesse James, is that what you're trying to do? So it was taken or something?
What's that?
No, there's somebody in my messenger. Jesse Lee James. I was like, every now and then I'll look over and because they're just sometimes it's just individuals texting me and sometimes it's different people texting together. It's weird. And then sometimes they do just weird names.
Yeah.
Dean, I did. You know what? I am probably going to do that. I have been thinking about it. Pal Talk actually contacted me and offered us a free room
Not
over.
Pal Talk. That's so hard to use.
They offered us a free paid room over there. So
you can't say no. Can't say no. It'd be a good spot.
I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. We'll right now I got to finish working with LinkedIn. I got a couple things I got to do with them.
You know what? If you have a space where everybody can go and you can all see their comments and stuff, it's nice because I love.
Well, it's just a different chat because now I haven't been over there in a while, but usually the people that hang out over there tend to ask really good questions.
Plus, you're all in one space. Like, I love that we go to different platforms here, but not everybody can see everybody else's comments. So you're right; you get a really good discussion going when you're.
And that's what's going to end up being on the website anyway. So if anybody comes on the website, they'll be able to chat through that. And,
right on.
Yeah. So well, I thought about just putting a different type of chat room on it, but I think that's what we're going to do is just put it on there. They can chat through that, and that'll give us just another place to draw questions from.
Absolutely. You're going to watch X-Files, Kurt, after this? Now that's quite a show.
Oh, shit, I won't even get to bed till 5. I'm going to go eat, and it'll take me another 2 hours to unwind from the show.
Every Friday night, because I usually have some energy drink, and then, I don't go to bed till 5 or 6. Dragging my butt on Saturday.
Yeah, that's all right. Well, I got to get up because I got to be up at noon. I got to do the 4 o'clock show and then the 6 o'clock show. And I got to remember, got to move Michael back an hour. I was talking about Michelle the other day, but I'll get around to that in the next week or two.
Now, when we get
off, that keeps us from running a half hour over into his show. It gives us extra time on the chat because we don't always use it, but then a lot of times we do use it. It just depends what kind of topics we are late into the show, and then
Well, when we get off here, I'm gonna ask you to hang around for 5 minutes extra. So.
Yeah, hold on. Oh, that's not a problem. We'll to everybody who's listening right now, we're getting ready to close out. You'll be able to find me tomorrow on the Arthur's Quill. I'll be on tomorrow. You can come hang out with us. We're going to be giving away those posters I just showed you, by the way.
Well,
yes,
we're going to give them printed.
Yes, we'll, they might be signed and numbered. I don't know. I haven't asked John. I mean, mine is, but people always ask me when I'm going to auction it, but I'm not auctioning it. I did tell you this Christmas.
That's a real prize, what you're giving away. Definitely.
So this Christmas, I'm giving away half of my autographed book collection. So
I thought you were going to say $500,000.
I'd have $1,000 giveaway, be giving away to myself. But anyway, I'm sure one of my kids or somebody in my family be, oh, Big Joe, could you get some money?
Yeah. Rigging it.
You can try to donate them to the National Archives for a reverse donation.
I know, huh? But anyway, I got a bunch of them that are signed.
It's worth a lot, Joe.
No, because I have. So every year we get a bunch of signed books.
Hey, Kurt. Enjoy the
and they're in my collection. But I get those same books I buy them. I don't buy them. I get them for free, but I get the books and then I'll have them all signed by whoever's there. But then I go back around and have the other books signed personally with personal things to me.
Oh, that's nice.
And it's. I had a person sign to me. Sorry.
Much better.
Yes, and then those books. Those will be mine until I die. If somebody gets their hands on it. But damn, I know I need to go. Jesus. Look, people don't drink it. Look at the size of this cup of coffee I've been drinking. This thing's huge. And it's black silk. That stuff is enough to make you grow hair in your head again. Anyway, we got to go. Anyway, guys, we got to get out of here. You can catch Laura Lee. She'll be back on Monday with Angel Rocker. You go over there, harass her and stuff. And
yeah, we got a returning guest. We got Marzia Takao. She does a whole bunch of spiritual type stuff, but she's over from, I think it's Denmark. Nice lady. Everybody loved her last time she was on, so she's coming back.
And she'll be on with Carrie Lynn on Thursday. Just
talking
before
about the home and the paranormal activity that the police cams caught. There is a ton.
And that ought to be fun stuff. Y'all be sure to go check that out. Jay we'll be back on Wednesday. And you with Jeffrey Friday?
My last Friday is next Friday, and then it'll go over to Wham for 3 Fridays.
Yeah. Well, no, he hosts 2 shows, some on Fridays. Just like I do on Saturday, he hosts sometimes on Fridays. He hosts 2. Well, he's with Jeffrey Pritchard before us on Church of Neighbors.
I've been on here 5 hours now.
Yeah. So we got to go, people. You see how it is? I've been up since early this morning. Anyway, good night, everyone. Stay tuned to whatever's coming on next because it's going to be something random. I have no idea what it's going to be. I'm just going to click play when we're done. And God knows what you're going to get to listen to. On that note, good night, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Bye.